Heidi ho, here we go. It's Hotline League episode 66. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. Are you guys excited to be here? I know I am, and you should be, because it's an amazing show. We've got an amazing guest. We've got so much to talk about. I'm going to be ranting about a tweet that went out 1 minute before the start of the show. Gosh, darn right is so good at timing this stuff for me for maximum entertainment. We've got Zeyzal here. We've got Mark. So much is happening. Quick shout out to Alienware for sponsoring the show. We'll be giving them a little bit more love later on in the episode, but want to thank them for their support at the start before we get into it. And first off, as we're getting into the show, let me thank my constant co-host, Mark Zimmerman, who is on my right, my left. I don't know. He's next to me. Mark, how's it going?
Good.
That's great to hear. Any exciting things going on with you lately?
I say this every week, but hopefully fucking my D&D thing comes out on offline TV.
That's
finally
cool.
This time.
I see you're wearing a 100 Thieves hoodie.
Yep. It was next to me and my window was open for the last 20 minutes. My room's a little cold, so I put it on.
Nice. I didn't know if you were putting it on in support of them.
Nope.
Or okay. Did you see that there was a Reddit thread that flamed me on the 100T subreddit?
Was this recent?
It was this past weekend, yes. And so I thought that was possibly why you were wearing the hoodie, was because we have to clean up our act. Those guys are after us.
No fucking clue what they're going on about this time.
Here, I'll just show it really quickly. So basically what happened, and we'll introduce Zeyzal in a second, don't worry. But basically what happened was I tweeted that because all the 100T players declined to do interviews after their win on Saturday, if you can call it that. And
win.
Yes, yeah. And so they declined everyone's interview. And then I tweeted that because I think it's interesting whenever that happens. It's very rare. And the 100T subreddit created a meme that's like, haha, 100T's denying interviews with Travis because he shits on them. And then the Reddit thread was just a bunch of people talking about how awful we are on Hotline League and all that kind of thing. So we made it.
Oh wait, can you find one where they talk about me? I don't care about you. Scroll down.
Here, I'll just
where they talk about Hotline League.
I'll link you the thread.
I want to double down.
I need to introduce our other co-host here. Okay.
Yeah, you do that while I find out what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's fine. Next up, we've got Zeyzal on the show. Zeyzal's first time ever on the show. Welcome to the show, Zeyzal.
Thank you. It's been a nice wait. Very anticipated.
Yes. Yeah, well, I'm excited to have you on. It's sometimes harder to get folks from the bigger teams or the more established teams because I guess those people are busy or they don't feel like it or whatever. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come on.
Yeah, I'm surprised personally. I don't really know how this got set up, so.
You're surprised to be here? Is that?
No. I knew that I would be here, but normally when I've spoken to anyone about shows, it goes through like personal to me.
Okay.
But this was just like, I didn't actually know this was set up, like, or how it was.
Okay.
Just management asked me if I wanted to be on.
Yeah, normally teams, when I approach players individually, they request that I go through management in order to talk to the players. And so that is what I have done in this situation, and that is how you ended up here. But thanks for coming on. I'm sorry that you just... Was this like an hour ago? You were told turn on your computer, get ready for the show?
It wasn't forced. They asked me. It was pretty in advance. Probably the day you asked, like 10 days to 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They asked me if I wanted to come on, and I did want to come on, so I accepted.
Great.
I tried to get Niski on last minute. I didn't realize that this was already happening, so I saw Niski because him and Licorice were on the cooldown thing. And so I was like, Niski, come on. And he's like, sounds good. And I was like, hey, Travis, Niski can do it. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it was like awkward because I was like, oh god, is Niski gonna go to Cloud9 and be like, I hear I'm going on Hotline League tomorrow, and Zeyzal's gonna be like, what? Like, I just was worried that I was gonna create some sort of inter-team conflict. So, but we will try to get Niski on in the future. So hopefully we can make that happen. Either way, how are things going with you, Zeyzal? You must feel pretty good. You guys are close to the top of the league, so just chasing on TL's tail, I guess.
Yeah, we feel pretty good. Our team atmosphere has always been good, but it's even easier to have a good atmosphere when you're winning.
Yeah.
So, like the TSM game, we're all happy we won. it felt really hard to win just for whatever reason. And that game, like, it feels really good to win a game like that just because it's TSM. But if it was like a lower tier team, it might be upsetting to win like that. But
Okay. You'll take
TSM, so we're happy.
whatever win you could take against TSM, you'll take and celebrate it, is what I'm hearing.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how bloody or messy it needs to be to get you guys the Nexus explosion. So, well, good. Hey, listen, stuff to talk about on the show. Mark, are you perusing this thread?
Yeah, it's fucking boring.
Okay. Well, I didn't mean to start. It wasn't like a planned topic. We didn't mastermind me talking about it.
No, I know. I thought that there was going to be more flame, but it's not that bad.
Yeah. Well.
Like someone says Travis is so crucial on 100T.
Yeah.
Because like,
and it got a ton of upvotes. And I would agree.
Not critical.
I am crucial for 100T. Is it possible 100T would exist without me? I don't think so. I'm crucial.
Well, it's so sad because it says that, and then someone else replies that's massively downvoted. It's justified, and at no point does someone correct the fact that that's not the right word to be using.
Yeah.
Which I think says everything it needs to about 100 Thieves fan base.
No. We're trying to clean up our act.
Were we?
Yes.
My bad.
I need to survive on that subreddit. You know, it's probably throwing some views my way every now and then. I don't want those people to hate me. I think 100 fans are some of the most intellectual fans in the League of Legends audience, you know.
Only the finest.
Yes, the finest fans, and we love them here on Hotline League. Much like we love 100T, as Mark is showing by wearing their incredible merch.
To be fair, there is a pretty highly outvoted comment that says they listen to Hotline League every week, and the subreddit's overly sensitive. So I think, it's just how it goes.
Yeah. Well, either way, with that and the Broken Blade interview thread last week, I've had a tough time with the Reddit community. Either way, so we don't need to talk about that anymore, but what is there to talk about? There's my rant I want to go on, but I don't want to just dominate the start of the show with my voice so much, so we should not maybe go there yet.
No one cares about it either.
I care.
I think, well, so in terms of stuff in the league, that's what we're talking about. Obviously, C9 and TL play next week, and that should be really exciting. It's the 1 and the 2 team going at it. So obviously, especially since we have Zeyzal, how things are going. They also started bringing the potential 7-man roster back. So they have Blabber playing this weekend. There's rumors about who the 7th man will be, if it's Golden Glue or maybe someone else. And then in the terms of other league stuff,
what do you think of those rumors? Do you have any guesses on the rumors? Any idea? Any comment on?
Well, obviously, I know who our 7th man is, but I don't want to just spoil
Great, you've got
it.
the perfect person on the show to discuss the topic.
I suppose.
I assume it's Golden Glue.
If you were going to need a 7th man, Zeyzal, who on the roster would need the backup?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Wait, who's your
I
support?
think personally, I would get a 3rd jungle, and then we actually tape them all together and get one super jungler.
Nice, I like that. That's a good strategy, one we haven't really thought of before on the show, so I'm glad. Yeah. All right, so there's that. Which, by the way, Niski told me on Saturday, he said, we're going to beat TSM tomorrow, and then we're going to beat TL next week. They beat TSM tomorrow, so, we'll have to see if they can beat TL next week. It's pretty exciting.
There was the mid lane tier list that we did. Zeyzal, did you catch those at all?
I saw the top 3. I saw it was 3 of them, right? And the high had Jensen, Bjergsen, Niski. I don't remember the other 2. But I know Niski was in top 3, and mostly Bjergsen, Jensen, and the others as well.
Yeah, top 3 were all. I mean, they weren't that different, all things considered. But
yeah. There's the
Morgana
reveal that came out today. Did you get a chance to see that, Zeyzal?
A what reveal?
The Morgana reveal. Didn't that come out
I
today?
didn't actually watch that. No.
Okay. Well,
the champion spotlight.
Every time news comes out for pro players, they don't find out about it until it's eligible to be in the LCS. So it's
that's kind of how it is. Like Sneaky didn't even want us to read the patch notes at one point.
Oh, really?
He was like, I don't even want to read these. These will impact how we practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of right, because if a champion's going to get nerfed next patch, you might not be as incentivized to play it. And we actually get patch notes earlier. Not a huge amount earlier, but 3 or 4 days usually.
Oh, gotcha. So that you can rip them apart?
Yeah, I think that's the intention.
Nice.
I also don't read patch notes because I sometimes get confused. Like I'm so like talking about something, then your brain just randomly fires, and you're like, yeah, with the nerfs coming in, and you're like, wait, why am I saying
Oh
that? It
yeah,
doesn't
as a
fucking matter.
caster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys play
Yeah.
in solo queue, so like, do you ever just like load up and you're like, oh fuck, my champ's gutted? Like they
Oh
just
yep.
fucked Alistar
That's
over it.
happened before. Like you just see something get nerfed and then you queue up, just autopiloting. You pick it and then you're like, oh no, well, what did I just pick myself into?
Yeah. You
It
probably just
hasn't
hate
happened
that
as much
game.
recently
Yeah.
for my role because there hasn't been many support nerfs.
Who would you want added to the meta that's not meta right now from support?
Oh, I've been having some success with Bard lately. That's who I'm looking
Oh
to
god.
play. But unfortunately, all the strong supports just smash Bard, so what can you do?
Didn't people used to think he was good into Alistar? I remember people telling me that. I
I
think.
wouldn't think it's good, but I play Alistar into any matchup.
Oh yeah,
So,
Alistar's fucking dumb. Just play that into anything.
yeah, I wouldn't want to play it into Alistar or Thresh mostly.
Yeah.
Those two
Yeah,
I
it gets
now
shit on
want to
by
pick Bard
Thresh.
into.
Should we talk a little bit with Zeyzal about the TL match next week or this coming week at the start of
Depends
the
if you
show?
think a caller won't cover it.
Well, I think maybe he shares his thoughts and then a caller comes in and maybe says how they're wrong or something. So
But TL's gonna shit on you guys.
yeah. I mean, that's what I'm hoping. I love those calls because then the pro player just has to sit there politely and be like, "Well, I don't think your understanding of the
Well,
situation is."
I have to respectfully disagree with that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, how do you think it's going to go, Zazel? Are you guys like pretty confident, or is it in your mind a coin flip? I mean, what does that match look like?
Oh yeah, we'll be taking him down.
Okay, okay, great. Glad we could talk to you about it.
Yep.
Is it? Do you think it's going to be like the toughest match of the split for you, or I don't know? How are you anticipating it?
I think TSM and TL are on a similar level, and I might even give it to TSM.
Oh, you think
So
TSM might
I'm
be
not.
better than TL?
I think TSM is actually really good. I mean, they have such good players in every role pretty much. So they're similar to TL, but I guess there's a dynamic about TSM that just makes them feel really strong.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure if I get that feeling as much from TL, but they also have such consistency that it's hard to like disrespect them and not get punished, I guess.
Right.
Do you think it's some scrim god type stuff with TSM? Like they just are better in scrims, or is
Yeah, I
it?
mean, a lot of my opinion is definitely from scrims. So it's hard to be like it's hard to go from the side with Jensen and scrims and then be like, yeah, you gotta trust the scrims because
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is what yeah. Is it just like a Jensen problem? Has he always been just a huge scrim troll or whatever?
it's hard to tell. I think his focus is just a lot higher on stage than in
Mm.
scrims, and even dropping your focus by a bit in scrims can lead to like you just die to every gank, and then eventually you become like worthless to your team because you're dead 3 times in the first 3 ganks.
Yeah. Hey, one thing I know we can talk about before we get into the calls, and I think we can probably get a call about this is what the hell was LCS this past weekend? Because man, that was like really weird. All the different games that were. I mean, just the amount of
Oh,
times
how
where
fucking bad they were.
yeah, and one team would have like a giant lead with like a shit ton of dragons, and then just lose a team fight, and that would be it. I like it. I am by no means an analyst, as I repeatedly say all the time. I don't know much about how teams win and lose and all that, but I know that what I saw this weekend was not good in most of the games. It felt like so. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on it. Was it just a patch, or what is it? What's going on?
So I guess the reason I can answer for like our games are we were playing into. I mean, the TSM game we started at a disadvantage, so it would be on TSM to comment why they couldn't win. But for our series versus GGS, we were technically down gold, but we were struggling to find a way to use our group timings or take something with our group timings. Like when we moved Ornn up and they just matched us mid, we weren't really getting anything. We were never really pushed out of their jungle, but we just weren't progressing our vision deep enough or threatening an objective, which basically just comes down to we weren't playing aggressive enough, regardless of if it was an individual or as a team we weren't doing enough plays, something went wrong so that we couldn't pressure our, I guess, map advantage because we weren't actually up gold, but we were in control of the map and we weren't capable of pushing our lead enough.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you guys should have been the aggressors? Because when I was looking at that game with Blabber, and like I was surprised you guys were even going for those kinds of like bot dives and stuff. Like it felt like you 100% outscale. They have like Elise,
Yeah.
Jace, Kalista, Tom Kenchum. Like if they just go even into like 20 minutes, they're gonna win. And then like I also thought, even after you fell behind, it was on Golden Guardians to like set up their 1-3-1 correctly, and you guys traded objectives basically favorably, I think, a number of times, which I was like, all right, well, this just looks like Golden Guardians is getting moved around the map. So I don't know. It sounds like you guys felt different in the game.
So my primary statement, I guess, was a reference to past 20 minutes once we were in their top side
Oh, okay,
jungle.
okay, yeah.
But early game, yeah, that was really weird because Blabber doesn't like to give anything. It's a really hard concept for Blabber to understand that there is a time when you're at a disadvantage and there's no equal trade on the map. So it's like he thought Contracts was going to be on Rift because it had just spawned. So he's like, oh yeah, he's in our top side. This is the trade side. So we got to dive their bot lane. And then I'm like, well, it's going to be a hard dive, Blabber, really hard. He's like, oh, they've got no flash, 30 seconds. Let's push the wave, guys. Let's go. And then Sneaky's like, we're pushing. And then we didn't really talk about how to do the dive because we were so hesitant already. So it's like I combo Tom with the idea that Blabber goes on Kalista, and then Blabber just piles on the Tom with me, and then he gets Kalista opted. So then it's like, well, I'm just like, ooh, yeah, this is what I expected.
Yeah,
And,
it's
that was a
so
really,
fucking
really
hard.
uncoordinated play.
Nice.
It's like you have to like headbutt the Tom Kench away and then go on the Calista or
Yeah,
something.
I have
'Cause
to
if you,
CC the Tom so that you can't save Kalista, but at the same time we have to threaten Kalista and kill him in like 3 seconds before Tom gets Kalista opted. It's really
yeah,
hard, yeah.
it's so troll. Anyways, yeah. I mean, that game to me, like, yeah, maybe you guys had some troubles, but I was much more like, what is Golden Guardians doing, like trading like this? And then they were trying to 1-3-1, but then fell behind. And then after the 1-3-1 didn't work, they just grouped up mid and like A-rammed you guys when you guys are clearly a team fight comp. So you're like, whatever.
Yeah, their strategy was weird because they pretty much actually, if you watch both the TSM game, we did the same thing. We basically normally will have someone go top and push the wave like past halfway, but then like when we did that versus both TSM and GGS, they just left it pushing on their side over and over. But it was fine for TSM because they have Zoe Varus, right?
Yeah.
But then GGS did it, so LeBlanc's like down 70 CS when he was up like 30 in lane phase. It was like 32 minutes and he's down CS even though he was up, and he's supposed to be the side laner, so he should continue his CS lead. So
Yeah.
we weren't really talking about it much because we kind of just felt the pressure to close out the game because like we're the ones in the map state in our favor. So the idea is that like we should keep holding it. But then because they were actually grouping, we were kind of messing things up a bit, like when I died at 23 minutes. So I think they did play it wrong. They should have side lane pushed, and they should have it on our side so we have to catch more. But we also ended up losing out because we reacted to it poorly when I killed myself at 23 minutes.
Oh god, I'm watching it right now.
Yeah. It is an interesting game. It's
I
like
mean, so
we messed up and they messed up, but they have a comp where if they mess up their execution, they kind of just lose.
yeah, so to Travis's point, more like, what about the rest of NAs? Like, obviously, your game had a little. You were. I would say the TSM one to me wasn't super Fiesta. I thought both you guys, for the most part, were playing pretty well. The Golden Guardians game was a little Fiesta, but then like compared to some of the 100 Thieves games and the Clutch games, like what the fuck is happening with our teams?
So
Are they do they look this bad in scrims as well, or like what is it?
So the weird part about Clutch and 100 are they're both pretty good in scrims. And I think there's a weird thing with NA. I swear, every team in NA, if they go behind 3K in 10 minutes, they just FF. And it's so weird. It's like,
Huh?
we play those games out. Like, we fall behind, we play those scrim games out, and we can win a lot of them. But then other teams are just like, can we go next, guys? And it's like, I suppose you guys can.
I mean, I feel like this
I
has
would
been
like to play this game out, but
I feel like I've heard this for years now about, and I feel like there's been conversations about it in the past where it's just sort of like, is NA just not, because you'll see other teams in other regions where they can do these like crazy comebacks and they figure out how to play from behind and all that stuff. But I remember a couple years ago there was a surge of conversation around like, why is it that in scrims teams that get behind just refuse to play and want to restart and only want to play whenever they are on even footing?
it would be nice to have a practice environment where teams don't do that, but that's also asking a lot because I know when we're down like 0 kills to 8, it's easier for me to just to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna have some fun this game and start roaming and not playing super defensive. Like I can tell in the environment, it's easy to go actually get more aggressive in scrims when you're behind because you're like, well, might as well go for hard plays
Yeah.
and like if they work, we have a chance of winning. But it kind of hurts because then when teams like actually play super defensive and you haven't practiced closing out with that huge lead you get, like Clutch's 7K gold lead, right, versus 100 Thieves, they ended
Hmm.
up losing that game. Like it might actually hurt that they lose those potential scrim games where they could have had the opportunity to show that they can snowball it in practice and then apply those concepts on stage. But I mean, with that kind of lead, you really should just be able to close out a game even without like direct one-to-one practice.
Yeah, but I think it's more so about like the playing from behind thing too, because I think I would have to check this, of course, but it feels like you guys have had a pretty large number of games where you've had to come from behind. Maybe not all of them.
So we've played a total of 12 games, right? If I'm not mistaken. And we've been behind in 5 of them, early at 20 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And we've won 4 out of those 5, right?
Yeah, right.
This would probably make it 5 out of 6. So we've been behind in half of our games, and we've won 5 out of 6.
And you're
So
probably the team that scrims, like you said, the most from behind. It sounds like.
we don't actually fall behind that early, but we don't
Oh, okay.
FF when we do. Like we don't just pause and surrender. We very rarely do that.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I think it speaks for itself a little bit. I mean, obviously, you guys are also one of the best teams in the league. Like outside that stuff, I think you guys have a lot of really good players. But like, yeah, maybe don't FF when through 10 minutes in the game when like your balling gets double killed twice.
Yeah, stuff like that happens a lot more than you'd think. Like it's not a huge deal when teams do it because I know as a player, sometimes I just don't want to play those games out when like it feels like the game is just going to be a constant struggle to get back into it, and it's harder to have like the 100% focused mindset for the rest of the day when you just got stomped like 2 games in a row or even just that one game felt unplayable.
yeah. Well, before we get into calls, just a really quick thing that I wanted to discuss. A little disappointing. So, for those that don't know about, or whenever Riot announced the spring split finals this year, they announced that they would not be doing a third and fourth place match like they normally do, which I think is potentially okay. But you know, the problem is, you know, for people that live in the St. Louis area or want to drive there or whatever, maybe they can't get tickets to the finals, or they are busy that day or whatever. It's always been kind of nice to have a third and fourth place match. So Riot announced at the time that there was going to be a fan fest event happening on Friday where you could go and engage with all the different teams and the sponsors and hang out, and just kind of a cool celebration of League Esports, which I was really excited about, and I thought was a pretty cool idea. And then they just canceled it, and there's no information. Now they tweeted that it was canceled, and then they deleted the tweet, but the tweet is identical to text that is still on the page about how it got canceled. They said that they're going to do stuff the day of, but for ticket holders, but this was supposed to be like a separate thing. And I just find it really disappointing because I don't know. I think it, I just get frustrated because it feels like Riot is failing several different things lately, and it's like really kind of crappy when you announce that you're going to do something for the fans, like an event like this, and then you just don't deliver on it. You cancel it like a month beforehand. So I don't know. Maybe
That's why Zeyzal's going to announce that he's doing a fan meet and greet on Friday.
Oh yeah. So wait, basically what it was just a meet and greet on a day where there's no matches, is my understanding.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it wasn't just a meet and greet. They were gonna have like, basically, you could go to I don't know what venue or whatever, but imagine like a convention hall or something like that, and you've got like all the different teams there, and they're all set up, and maybe there's some pro players, and there's some
So similar
streamers, and
like similar to what was before finals, I think. Like we
yes,
had
but I
this,
think a little bit more
we had these
expansive than that.
booths. Okay, okay.
So it was supposed to be like rather than just the tailgate they did at Oakland, like something that was a little bit more expansive. And I get that some people in the audience are like, why, like, who cares? But I think if it was coming to your city, you would want this to be a thing. And I just think it's shitty that they can't deliver on it. It's just frustrating and disappointing. Reapert says, if I go fan meet, you buy me dinner, Zeyzal, in Twitch chat. So I guess you're potentially still doing this? I don't know.
It's the Lyra thing where
Oh.
Lyra said if I meet any fans, I would like to buy them dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to them about why they're. Reapert really enjoyed that one.
Yes. That's good. I like that. All right. Anyway, hopefully we get some sort of explanation for why that's the case soon, but it's just disappointing. I would like some good news from Riot. Anyway, let's see. Show's been going on long enough. We can get into calls. Mark, do you want to explain how this works?
Yeah, so for people who are watching for the first time, the way this show works, it's actually a call-in show. So I'm spamming Twitch chat right now with the link to the Discord. You're going to want to go and join up. When you get there, join one of the voice channels, Pleb Calls or Pleb Calls 2, and you can mute your microphone once you're in there. And then the Pleb Topics text channel, that's where you're going to go post what it is you want to talk about. And, you know, try and keep it to takes, but with a guest, it's always okay to ask questions. What's it like playing with Sneaky? What was it like when you were trying to earn your spot? Do you hate Reaper or something? I don't know. Whatever it is, ask those questions. If we like it, we'll pull you into the waiting room where I'll do a quick audio check with you when it's your turn to go, and then you'll be on the air talking with us.
And just a quick note, it doesn't need to be and shouldn't always be a question. Sometimes we're looking for interesting takes. Like you feel like the Travis Gafford needs to shut up about the Fan Fest, or you feel like Reaper should buy you dinner instead of
Zeyzal.
Zeyzal
Get rid of
buying.
him.
Oh yeah, he should buy Zeyzal dinner instead of Zeyzal buying whatever. Those types of takes. By the way, if you are a sub, first off, thank you. I appreciate you endlessly. And you get access to the subtopics chat if you link your Discord and your Twitch account. Things move a little bit slower there, so you do have a little bit of a better chance, and we do try to pull people from both channels. So it's just our thank you to subs, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you get guaranteed a spot on the show. Also, our viewership is up a decent amount tonight, so thank you, Zeyzal, for that. Getting that Zeyzal bump. The beard bump.
Wait,
is true.
random aside, have you been approached by any sponsors for men's grooming? 'Cause there's a-
Personally, I have not, but Jack might have a different statement on that.
I don't know how the org works, but you need to get on that.
As in, you think he needs somebody to help him with grooming?
No, I'm
they
saying
helped me actually. The makeup crew.
No, he doesn't need help. He needs someone to fucking pay him to look that good. That's what I'm saying. Like men's grooming, there's like a number of these startup companies that
he
are
needs
going
like
on.
a beard oil or a beard wax or something.
Yeah, one of those shitty fucking beard oil sponsors.
Okay, no,
One of them
don't-
needs to...
You're not helping. When you call
They're
them...
not watching this. Does anyone in Twitch chat right now work at one of these beard oil companies?
There are a
And
lot
did
of
I
things
just-
that...
did I just...
There's a lot of things that Mark is good at. Whatever that spectrum
I feel like there's
is,
a butt coming though.
whatever that spectrum is, on the other end of the spectrum is like biz dev and partnership management. You know, like I don't... Like, no one at Offline TV should ever have Mark work with any kind of sponsors or anything like that, or just... It's just not... It's not a good idea. I want to tell you guys, there have been at least 10 different additional brand opportunities that Hotline League has had that Mark just crushes underneath his foot. You know, they tune into the show. They're like, why is Mark...
And the one that I wanted, Tidy Cats, I couldn't get.
Tiny Cats, is that what it's called?
We were...
Tidy Cats, it's a
It's
cat
long
litter
story.
thing.
I don't...
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Jack said,
I'm just-
Jack just put in chat, want to sponsor Zeyzal and Cloud9? Partners at cloud9.gg. Do it. There you go. You can hit
Yeah,
up
just-
Jack, and if you are an aspiring beard oil company or men's grooming product, Zeyzal is waiting to promote your product.
I've seen like the H3 podcast sponsored by this stuff. Zeyzal has a way better beard, so people are in the market already of like new age gaming, esports, YouTube stuff.
New age gaming?
New age
Esports,
media
also
is
known
what I
as
meant to
new
say.
age
This
gaming.
line of conversation.
I'm gonna say new media.
I
Whatever.
want Mark to walk into one of these brand meetings with a deck. Okay. You
No,
wanna
there's
get
no
into
deck.
this new age gaming. Let me tell you.
There's no deck. There's a bottle of rum.
And a picture of Zeyzal.
Yeah, like look at this fucking kid. All right, sponsor him.
Yeah. Get in on the new age gaming. All right. I lit some incense. We're
There was
all
a
gonna
comma
pray.
there. New
Right,
age, fucking
New
whatever.
age.
Let's start taking some
Gaming.
calls, please. I would like to actually talk
Alright.
to a decent human being like you, Mark. All right, couple of quick shout outs. ZBake05, it's your boy Deej, Yonstar for 1 year, thank you, Yoni. McHugh for 14 months, Fly Twist at 9 months, Walking Out subbed. That Weird Dude gifted a sub to Cloud9, and That Weird Dude gifted a sub to Zeyzal. So congratulations to both Cloud9 and Zeyzal for being anointed. Swish and Flick for 4 months. That Weird Dude gifted a sub to Twitch. That's great. Twitch is now a sub to my channel. Duobis for the 2 months. Take my money and get on the dive. I hear that the Riot producers are not a very big fan of mine after I did that video, so I don't think I'm ever going to make it onto the dive. Let's see. Aku32, That Weird Dude 25 resubbed, and also gifted a sub to Reaper, so thank you. That Weird Dude is on a roll. Mark should be getting our next caller in any second, and we'll have.
I was
some
getting
more.
trolled.
Oh, you were getting trolled?
I was getting trolled. I asked him what he talked about. He started talking about something that he didn't type, and then he did type what I thought he typed.
Okay.
And fucking,
Is that
I got
this
trolled.
individual Blood Vault?
Yes,
Okay, Blood Vault, you were trolling Mark?
he's trolling me.
Yeah, I guess a slight troll, yeah.
Okay.
Good work.
Small troll.
A slight troll. Small troll. All right. What do you want to... Or first off, where are you calling from, Blood Vault?
I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
San Antonio, Texas. What... Nice. Are you going to go to... Are you going to Austin for South by Southwest by any chance?
I haven't gotten tickets yet, but
Okay.
it's something I've looked into. Yeah, it's real expensive.
Well, I'm going to be there next week, so if you end up going, you can say hi to me. Check out the Alienware stuff. What do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
So yeah, I want to talk about the 7-man roster was brought up earlier, and I want to know like what is the Challenger Series like actually doing to foster the talent and really like help C9 as a team come together, because I know there's a whole separate Challenger Series team. Does like practicing with a separate team actually help that? Kind of what is the dynamics of all those players working together come to create the 5-man Cloud9 we see on the weekends?
Well, it's soon to be 7-man Cloud9, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the 3 junglers.
Okay, so yeah, the 3 junglers. So yeah, Zeyzal, what is it like? Because actually, I was talking to I think Niski or one of the Cloud9 guys who was just saying, maybe it was Licorice, who was saying it was really great having the academy players around and they all hang out. You guys are all live in the same place, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think it helps the environment. It makes it a lot more like less tense, I guess, to have them around, because we're all really like kind of laid back and we joke with each other a lot. There's a lot of bullying in the Cloud9 house, so yeah, it makes it fun. Gives us some extra targets. Whoever's the target for the day.
Is there like a board that there's just like a bullseye and you guys pin a picture up there?
It's really, you just kind of find something. So usually it's Niski and Eric have a battle with each other every day.
Licorice.
So
you're
I
saying,
kind
right?
of, yeah, Eric and Niski, so Licorice and Niski, they kind of argue about something really dumb. They get along pretty well, but they got to argue about something. Like Niski he makes a weird statement like, I'm the better Silas, which is clearly not true, no chance. The one-on-one was scripted, but beyond that, yeah, so then I got to join a side. Usually I just join the side that's been like getting bullied more to even out the score. And then it pretty much just continues from there.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess on the side of atmosphere, I think it helps the atmosphere to have extra people around that like understand and are pretty relaxed, help keep the environment like less tense.
Yeah,
I
Twitch
totally
chat
see
says
the.
IRL support, true support. So you're just already supporting. Yeah, like forever. That's nice of you.
I can see the just starting arguments thing though. I always start arguments with Kobe over like nothing, just
Oh,
to
I
fuck with him.
if anyone watches like our On Cloud9 series, I think it's called, I like to argue with Sneaky before the games just about anything to get him hyped, you know. Get like he likes to argue, so if I get the energy in him before the match, it can really increase his aggression in game.
Sneaky likes to argue.
Oh,
Sneaky already
Sneaky
seems like
loves
the
to
most
argue.
passive, chill person ever. Like I've known this
Nope,
guy
nope.
forever. I've never seen him like argue with anybody. Like
Ooh,
he usually
Sneaky and
just
I
like
argue about everything. It's like an argument where it goes on for like 10 minutes and then we just go back to doing whatever we were doing before though.
Could you give me an example?
Well, what was the
Um
fallout with like the mouse licking thing? What the fuck
oh
was
Yeah, Twitch
that?
chat brought that up.
Yeah.
he didn't so he just picked up my mouse and put it really close to his tongue, pretended to lick it, and then I just like to mess with him, so I did it back and just played with it. It was pretty much just him having fun. He likes to take my stuff and just do stuff with it, like move it around or pretend to lick it, I guess. He likes to be disruptive. He likes
Okay,
the attention.
he's attention seeking.
Yeah.
Okay, what is
I
an
mean,
example of an argument that you guys have had?
So Sneaky had this thing, Worlds, where he would say hot take and like just randomly hot take, and then say something dumb like hot take. IG's actually not a good team, and then and
He's
then
like a
you either
Hotline League
argue with
caller
him or then
in
he
real
kind of
life.
just moves on. Yeah, yeah, like a Hotline League caller. He just lets Twitch chat take over
Yeah.
almost, and then he just likes. I don't think he actually likes the. It's kind of hard to call it an argument because it's really like lighthearted. It's like no one takes it personally or anything. But I guess it kind of is an argument.
Yeah. It's just weird because when I interact with Sneaky, he seems like so passive and chill. Like I
So
just feel
so
like
I
if you
guess my
tried to
last
argue
one
with him,
with
he'd just
him.
smirk and be like, "Yeah, that's
I
troll."
I actually remember my last one with him was Sunday after our game. Um, we just finished. It's like we have like an hour of interviews and features and stuff. And Sneaky's like, "Oh, I don't want to have to wait for you guys to get dinner if I'm not going to be eating there. So we should VOD review before eating, because normally we go to a place nearby our house to get food, and then we VOD review." And Sneaky thought that since he wasn't eating, we should um either order food and then like not walk somewhere so we don't waste his time. Well, he just sits there and watches us eat or go get food. So then I was just arguing. I actually agreed with him, but I was just arguing to do it. So I was like, "Oh yeah, we'll just all work our schedules around you, Sneaky. That sounds like a
yeah.
fantastic idea."
Nice. Okay, well, we didn't really answer our caller's question, which is the academy
He,
team.
he a little bit did, so it's nice to break up
But
just the
yeah,
five
there is
guys.
a practice aspect of it for sure, where having like 5 players that you can pick a matchup, or like they actually will listen in on our draft meetings for our warm up, and they like actually try to give us like our worst case scenarios, so then we can practice from like bottom up a lot of the time, which helps a lot. Like in the Saturday draft, our TSM draft, we knew be giving them a certain champion, so then we made sure that our academy team played that certain champion so we could practice like worst case scenario, because our academy players could play that champion really well. So we got to see like what it would be like before we played the match too. Like simulate it in a way.
I mean, that's cool and seems very helpful. So
Yeah, it's an interesting take on it. So I do have like kind of a second. I don't mean to jump in, but I had one little quick second part to the question about since you mentioned that it seems like the Academy series is mostly like kind of like not necessarily for fun, but it's kind of like a morale boost, keeps like gets you like a bigger team environment. So if it's not providing all that much to the teams, why is it such a trash viewer experience? And how come Rye isn't doing anything to kind of make it a better viewing experience? Like there's no broadcast for it anymore. Like where did that go?
I mean,
So
oh, go ahead.
Marks
If
and
you want to
I
answer this,
obviously
Zeyzal,
know
but
why, but it's pretty much just it's a big cost, and
Mm.
I think it's hard to justify the cost if you're Riot, because honestly, even Challenger, when there was a lot of money going through Challenger, it peaked at like 20k viewers, and there was players paid like $300,000 or more to play in Challenger. So it's like Academy is a lot less on the line and almost a lot less entertaining than Challenger. And there's just not a viewership there that's really worth investing in. So it's good that the teams get to like build the broadcast into how they want it.
So Zeyzal, do you feel like the academy system is not very helpful to teams right now? Because I
No,
think
I think it is, but I just think it's hard to justify the cost as Riot to broadcast every game.
yeah, I was just making because I think Bloodvolt said that. I don't want to stick words in anyone's mouth here, but you were kind of saying that, right? Bloodvolt, you didn't think it sounded like it was that useful to teams.
Yeah, from like the academy roster, that's because that was the first thing that Zeyzal came off with. That it was kind of like the morale and the team building aspect was a big part of it, and kind of secondary that sure you can have the other team to kind of spitball with.
Right. Well, that was Zeyzal's saying that right now. But Zeyzal, how did you feel when you were able to end up on Cloud9? You didn't get to replace Smoothie right away, but you got to start underneath him and eventually end up on a great team because the academy system let you be a part of an org without having to be on the main team.
So I guess to restate, I think that's two benefits. And that's I'm pretty sure a Cloud9 specific benefit to Academy. I wouldn't be clear on that, so that's why I mentioned it. But I think for every team, the benefit of Academy is that you can see these players. Like the most recent ones were like Vulcan and I that are really good players. Like Vulcan was obviously a good player, but it's hard to justify being like, this guy's good in solo queue. Let's put him on an LCS team. But before you also couldn't do that with Challenger because Challenger, your only goal if you were in Challenger was to get into LCS. So with Academy being a secondary to an LCS team, there's no risk now when you invest in a player that could be good. So for example, I was also that player. I could have been really good. And not that many LCS teams were willing to take the chance on me. So when I get an opportunity to join an academy team, even though I was already good enough to be in Challenger, that's why I used the example of Vulcan, who might not have been on a Challenger team otherwise. We both get spots on academy, and if I'm good, I'll move up, and if he turns out to be as good as he looks, he'll also get the chance to move up, which we both did. So I think it's basically easy to see the benefit of academy if you think about it as potential players don't get opportunities in Challenger because of the high. So the idea that Challenger was a practice league was kind of wrong, and it creates an actual practice league where good players or potentially good players get a chance to grow into the LCS level players like Viper, Vulcan. Am I missing others?
Demonte?
Demonte didn't actually play Academy, did he? Oh, Echo Fox Academy for a bit, I guess.
For a bit, but Dokla.
Well, yeah. Like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of good players that came from Academy, and I think they wouldn't have had as many chances if they went through Challenger. They probably wouldn't have actually been on Challenger teams.
Yeah, and so I think Bloodvolt, the answer to this question ultimately that you raised is that by making the academy system about actual player development and growth and value for both players getting shots that they wouldn't have gotten and teams to be able to take shots and work with players directly rather than kind of just doing it blindly, it's a much better system for both players and teams, but it's much worse for viewers because there's not really much drama week to week. There's no tension. There's no like,
Nothing
oh
on
my
the line
god.
if you lose.
Exactly. So
Here's my take. I think the owners should all band together and create an academy broadcast that is super fun and crazy and zany, and they get like streamers to commentate, and they just have a lot of fun with it. And it sort of serves as the opposite end of the spectrum from the LCS, where you just get to have a ton of fun and be zany and all that kind of stuff.
I think what I would do if I was all the teams, I'd pool together. Everyone chips in, $1,000 a week. So you come up with $10,000 a week, and you pay Tyler One to host the academy regular season every Thursday or whenever it is, every Friday now.
Both, right?
Yeah.
So the problem with stuff like that is each team wants to invest differently in academy. So whereas like you watch Cloud9's broadcast, we actually we have Mark who runs it. Not you, but
Yeah,
our
I was like,
Mark,
what?
our Mark Register.
Mark, have you
He set
been
up
doing
it.
this? I didn't even know.
Then we also have two casters that actually full-time run it. So then we have people that are we have a full team almost that runs our academy broadcast, whereas some of them don't even want to invest the bare minimum. I don't know if teams are doing it this split, but I remember sometimes they would literally just put a bare replay up of the match.
Yeah, they would just spectate or
with
something.
nothing but like a client or a little mark over it of their team's logo.
Okay, here's what you do. You get all the teams that are willing to spend $1,000 to put the money in, and then the teams that don't just get shamed endlessly as part of the broadcast. Like, well, there's
with thanks to all the teams, and then no thanks to the other teams.
yeah. Let's say like
cross
Yeah,
their
TL
logos
doesn't.
fucking
out.
cheapskates.
I'll use TL as an example because we know that Steve would just open up his bank. He's probably got enough money in his Venmo account, but he'd just be like, you just go, all right, there's TL. Look at them. They suck so much. Wow, it's just really unfortunate to see an org that's not dedicated to their fans and growing the broadcast, you know, just take them down. That's how you do it.
It's not a bad strategy to like almost crowdfund it within the teams, though. I think that would be fine. And
then you could get a sponsor. I mean, you could get a sponsor to sponsor that whole broadcast then, and then you could potentially make your money back. You know, assuming it gets good enough viewership. If you can get a broadcast up to, I mean, listen, this show's got less than 2K people watching right now. You know how much money Mark and I make on this? It is a cash cow. All right. Mark is he's able to feed himself once a week off of the money he makes from this show. So it's ballin'. I got to tell you. We got to move on because we've had like 20 minutes on this call. Blood Vault, any final thoughts?
No, I thank you guys so much for having on. Good luck this weekend, Zeyzal, and take it easy, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
See it.
All right, really quickly, we need to take a break. Zeyzal, feel free to grab a Red Bull. I guess that's the thing that you do. And I'm going to give a shout out to our sponsor. You guys might be surprised to find out the sponsor for this week of Hotline League is actually Alienware. Again, for the 500th week in a row or whatever it takes. They're super dedicated to the show. They're super dedicated to all the content that I'm creating. And I think I might have mentioned this last week, but I'm going to be at South by Southwest next week. So if you are in town in Austin, I will be at the Alienware setup. It is outside of South by Southwest, the main building. So just go over and check it out. There's all sorts of cool stuff there. There's going to be, it's the weekend after next. So it's going to be, they're doing like a viewing part. Actually, maybe, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. All right, well, hopefully they don't get angry at me. They're doing a viewing party for some of TL's games, and I think they're going to be able to watch a lot of LCS there. They've got some other cool stuff happening, which now I'm realizing I don't know if I can talk about, but it's just going to be really neat. And I'm going to be there hosting and hanging out at the booth the whole time. We're working on finding a candidate to sub in for me that weekend for LCS interviews. So if you're in Austin, you're going to South by Southwest, go check that out. If you're not in Austin, you're not going to South by Southwest, just do me a favor, go to Dell.com/Travis, check out some of their new stuff. They got some cool products coming out, some stuff they announced at CES. Put a link into Twitch chat right now if you want to check it out, but if you're watching the VOD on YouTube, you can check in the description. If you're listening to the podcast, just go to Dell.com/Travis. That's TRAVIS, Travis. Check out the Alienware stuff. Thanks so much to Alienware for their support of the show. All right, let's move on to the next caller.
Before we do, I was just looking at the League of Legends streaming category. Fucking Sneaky streaming against us right now.
No, I mean, Peter streams against us too.
But
He's streaming
Peter's not tech. I know he's your son, but he's not like he doesn't live in the same house. Like Zeyzal,
His
you could go
betrayal
and
is-
hypothetically, Zeyzal could walk over to Sneaky stream right now and tell people to check
that
us
is
out.
not true anymore.
Damn it! Fuck!
Sneaky's moved out, and actually, if you guys want me to be honest, so Sneaky's gameplay, we'll say it was here. He lives in the house. Sneaky with an apartment. We're looking like here.
Oh, he's better?
Yeah, he's much better. Sneaky
Is that
just
why
needed
he's having
his
such
own
a good
personal
split?
space. Yep, Sneaky's unbeatable now.
Okay. Is he
What?
is he living with his girlfriend?
Yep.
Okay,
And
so
a
it's not
dog.
that personal space.
Personally, I'm saying it's a mix of the two.
Yeah. Well, too bad because you could go type /raid into his chat whenever he's using the bathroom, and that would be really helpful for us.
Yeah. Oh
all right,
well.
Mark. Go. All right, while Mark's grabbing somebody, just a quick couple of shout outs to Exugp, I think, Sage Gaming, Purple Ray Q for 11 months, coming up on a year. General Maliri, Doc Smart, that weird dude gifted us up to Sneaky, Tyler1, and Alienware. Incredible. Blood Vault sub, thank you for subbing. Just on the show a second ago. Costa Rican, and then NA Alistar. And we're all caught up. We're also joined right now by, is it pronounced Phyrix? Phyrix, is that?
Hello, yeah.
Is that how you say your name?
Yep, go for it.
Cool. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the UK.
From the UK. What time is it there?
5 a.m.
All right. Wow.
Whoa.
Is it, by
That's
the way,
early.
am I able to make a Brexit joke, or is that insensitive?
It's no insensitive. I don't think anyone's going to get mad.
Okay. Well, if I come up with one, I'll make one. Why don't you tell us what you... I just, I had to clear it ahead of time, so I didn't want to... What do you want to talk about on the show? And thanks for being up at 5 a.m.
I was calling in to ask about Optic, and I was going to talk about their chances at playoffs, especially because the roster flexibility this split has looked pretty good with their somewhat like 7-8 man roster.
Yeah. Do you think they have a chance at playoffs?
Sure. Their current match record, good.
Okay.
I don't know about
this
the
is
other two.
amazing. By the way,
Nicole.
before we get into it, I just want to say it's crazy to me. This is such a unique call. We've got somebody from the UK who's up at 5 a.m. who's thinking about Optic. Like, this is just you're a very unique fan for a lot of different reasons. They also just got a sub gifted to them by that weird dude 25. So congrats to Optic Gaming. So what is more likely? They get a sub gifted to my channel, or they make it to playoffs? Zeyzal, what do you think of Optic's chances and their performance so far?
So with Optic, it's always hard to tell because they always do weird, like not being seen as a top team. I think now, from what I watch, it actually looks like Crown is still really good, and it seems like he wins a lot of skill matchups. Like, he'll pick himself into what I'd say are skill matchups, maybe without perfect knowledge, and I would say that he wins them most of the time. So I would say he is a very strong member for them, and I think both junglers are good. Every time I see Meteos like come back, it's like you wouldn't expect him to be good. Like, he's chilling in D2 and solo queue for like last split, but he's so good when he plays on stage, and even when we played versus him, he did really well. It's like he always defies my expectations, so it's hard to rate him as a player.
I think they have I think one of the better early games. Let me see if that's still true. I've been saying that it was true a couple weeks ago. I need to double check that that's still true. But I think that's the thing for them, is that by having a good early game, they'll find a lot of wins over some of their opponents who are more inconsistent as the season goes on and teams start imploding a little bit more, because it feels like Echo Fox and 100T are kind of mental booming. And if you can get early leads against a fragile mental team, like, you can probably beat them.
I mean,
Yeah,
so
there's
here...
a weird thing
Go
with
ahead.
early game drafts. It's like, it almost seems like the weaker teams are the ones that like to pick early game drafts. To me, like the teams that are weaker will play champions that are super aggressive early, but then it's on them to execute it and win early. Like, I would say that's almost what GGS did to us, where they pick like Callista, LeBlanc, Jace. Like, that's a 1-3-1, but they also have the distinct trait that they're all strong laners. And it seems like a lot of teams that are willing to pick drafts like that, like CLG does it as well, and then Optic does it often. So I'm not sure if the stats are misleading, or they just,
Well, they're also...
they might actually require a bigger lead than what the stats say when they draft like that to actually be like looking at strong as a team.
Yeah, I think one, those stats are not that relevant anymore because Optic's pretty much middle of the pack. They're not great. But I definitely agree. Like that Golden Guardians game, like, if that comp is like 1.5k gold ahead and like not getting the elemental drakes, like, at least maybe they even need more. Like, how ahead would that comp need to be favored to win against your comp?
I'm pretty
in the
sure
mid-game?
Reaper in his VOD review he said that he would feel confident with us winning that game, considering the team strengths, as long as we're not down 4k by 14 minutes. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but this is roughly what I heard from Reaper's VOD review stream. And
So
I
he was
think it's a
saying-
fair point. Basically, by the time turret plates are down, because turret plates are a lot of new gold in the early game, if we're not down 4k, he thinks as a team we would win that game.
With your comp, right?
With our comp, yes, and our
Yeah.
players.
Yeah, so at 15 minutes, he would want, if he was Golden Guardians there, to have a 4k gold lead to feel like they could win. And it's like, they're probably not going to get a 4k gold lead ever.
It's
against
definitely
you guys.
hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so one thing that is interesting to me about this call is that I interviewed a bunch of pro players this past weekend. It's something I've been trying to do lately. And the interesting thing that occurred is that a lot of people said, okay, you've kind of got your 4, which are TL, TSM C9, and FlyQuest in playoffs.
Who I don't think anyone's including anymore as like a guaranteed 4th. They're
you
on a
don't think
4-game loss
FlyQuest?
streak.
Well, a lot of people are all the pro players said that they felt like FlyQuest was in there. And then
Yeah, I put that. I said that as well, right?
Yeah.
Like I
Yes.
think FlyQuest is pretty strong.
And then filling the 2 other slots, people were mostly saying, I think almost all of them said CLG and Golden Guardians. So that would have Optic not in playoffs. They have to figure out a way to kick out CLG, Golden Guardians, or FlyQuest, I guess. I mean, do you think, Zeyzal, that there's a likelihood that Optic will make it in instead of one of those?
I think that between GGS, CLG, and Optic, I honestly could not tell you which team is stronger. And it could be that I don't watch their games enough or scrimverse them enough, but I would feel personally right now I could not tell you which one is the stronger team of the 3. I do have like a bit of bias towards like some teams being stronger than others. Like I don't want to offend my friends on GGS, but like I think from an objective point of view, I couldn't tell you which one's stronger.
Who are your friends on GGS?
Contracts. I mean, I'm pretty much friends with most of them. Like interact with them a bit, but mostly contracts, definitely.
You gotta be willing to make them feel bad for a second for comedy.
I mean,
or
objectively,
drama.
I really can't tell you which one is the best of the 3.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, I wish there was an easy way to figure out who has the harder path ahead of them, because there's only a couple weeks left.
Yeah, that's true. That would actually matter a lot. When they play and who they play.
Yeah. So this weekend, Golden Guardians and CLG play each other. I'm not going to go back. Oh,
I
go
looked
ahead.
at Optic's match record, and they've got 2-0 over CG, but they're down. They played both games against TL so far, and they're yet to play TSM and C9. They have a game over CLG, and they're even with FlyQuest.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, you're right. They do have to play Cloud9 and TSM, I think, still, right?
I mean, it's still 6 games left, so you're going to play 66% of the possible opponents because you can't play yourself. So there's 9 opponents you could potentially have. So you still
GGS
have.
already played us. CLG already played us, right?
Yep, they played. But they had a pretty hard week. CLG
Optic
did.
hasn't played us, so Optic still has to play us. They played TL. So I mean, it's pretty close. I think they all have similar weeks.
Clutch Gaming
You
is in the
just say
Twitch
it.
chat, and they say, we're coming, don't worry. Okay, so we have to rework. Now that we know that Clutch is in there, we have to completely rethink this conversation.
Ooh.
Did you watch the doctor segment, Travis?
You know, if you
I
actually
watched-
included Clutch in the 4, I would have said they're the strongest, or the 3. As weird as it sounds.
Oh, really?
I've been hearing so much about them in scrims. Yeah, everyone
I mean,
keeps
it's not
talking about them.
like realistic. It's not like they're like insane. It's just they aren't deserving of 4 and
they
8.
probably should have beaten 100 Thieves this past weekend.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, if a 100T fan from the subreddit is watching, I'm just saying that to make other people happy. I really believe 100T deserves that completely, but I don't know. I think maybe Clutch is getting better. It'd be curious if they can sneak it into playoffs. The Doctor segment, I did watch it, Mark, and actually I don't know if I finished it, but I really enjoyed the.
It's 2.5 minutes. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm a busy guy.
Was the one that was shown on broadcast with like clips in between of the games, was that an edited version or was that the actual video?
Oh, I haven't seen the one with the clips in between.
Okay, there was clips
one-
in between your guys' statements, like your diagnosis of like teams playing. Is that in the actual video?
No, the actual one
I
is
haven't
just
watched
like
the actual one then. I watched the one on broadcast where they like separated it a bit with like clips in between your
Yeah.
statements as the doctors.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, because I was gonna say we said Clutch Gaming's dead on it. So if they make it back, we have to do a great segment about malpractice and shit like that.
About them
Are you
coming back
watching it
up.
on broadcast now or on our stream?
I was just pinning it on because we're talking about it. I'm giving you. Listen, I want to give
Oh,
Riot as
I'm
much
watching it
promotion
too.
as I can for LCS because
You-
this has got less than 50K views on it, Mark. Okay, I need to help them out.
Hey, it was number 3 on the subreddit for a little bit yesterday.
Okay, so based off this timestamp, I made it roughly halfway through. I got to the part where you were hitting him with the Thresh statue, and then I thought that was really cute, and then I was like, I don't need to see any more of this. But you declared Clutch dead is the point.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, are you salt? I'm sure it's great,
I'm
Mark.
very
Everyone go
salty.
watch it, okay? We hurt Mark's feelings. I really like it. It's good. I
It's
regret not
very
watching it.
ironic since I don't watch anything that anyone does.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It's probably the most double standard thing I could possibly do. Is like, you didn't watch my thing, and I'm not going to watch yours, Locos, Thorin's, anyone's shit.
Yeah. By the
Aren't
way,
you
LOL
on
Esports,
Loco
shout out
pretty often.
in
What's
the
that?
Twitch. What?
Oh.
Go ahead.
I thought I saw you on Loco's show.
Yeah,
Very
I was on
good.
it, but I haven't watched any episodes.
Oh.
I didn't know that they did them live. I did it, and they were Twitch chat apparently, and I was like, oh shit, we're live. I didn't know you guys did these live.
By the way, Hotdog333 says LOL Esports just tweeted that they canceled the FanFest. Okay, so the tweet is back. I don't know why they deleted it and then reposted it, but it's...
Oh,
Did
I
they
see
reword it?
I'm trying to figure out how I can tell.
They got rid of the thing that says more details.
Oh, okay. It took
I-
them
I
an
think
hour
that
it
is-
says
to...
details.
It took them an hour to change that part of the tweet?
This was a direct result of us on Twitch saying that there was no more info in the
But why
article.
didn't they just tweet it back out? Like, why did it take them an hour to fix it? That's just... It tells you a lot about what's going on over at Riot Games, because they fuck up a tweet and an hour later they fix it.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock. Who knows? Maybe someone took a bath.
Do people usually take baths at 8 o'clock?
I don't know. You get home from work. Hey Zeyzal, when do you bathe after a long day of scrims?
Usually I do it at 9 a.m. or well 8:30 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. So
He's
it's
a morning
shower
shower
then.
guy.
Yep, it depends because we do the morning workouts with a lot of us. So then that's 10:30 and then otherwise 8:30.
Pyrix, did we answer your question?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay. He's like, I stayed up at 5 a.m. to ask this question, and this is the goddamn answer I get. This is the
We
worst
talked
show
about
ever.
Optic for a little.
It's
Yeah.
all right.
Do you have any follow-up
Optic,
questions
mid,
here?
and jungle are Smurfs. That's what
Yeah,
we'll end the question
Travis,
with.
where's the Brexit joke? I want to hear it.
Oh.
Or have you not come up with one yet?
Well, unfortunately, it's time for you to make your Brexit. Okay, he's gone.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
Next caller?
Is this scripted?
No. Should I not have kicked him? I thought that was...
That kind of seems pretty mean, but it
Okay,
wasn't
okay.
bad.
I'll bring him back.
Okay.
Sorry, did you have anything you wanted to say before I kick you, Pyrix? Pyrix, are you still? We brought you back. Are you here? Pyrix, I see you in the call.
He's crying.
Oh,
doesn't wanna talk to
hi,
his
I'm
guy.
back.
Okay, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Oh no, good luck to Zeyzal in your week ahead.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Thanks for the show, Travis.
Yeah, see ya. All right, Mark is grabbing the next caller. Oh, he's already here.
Mm-hmm.
Master
Hello.
Namer is here. Master Namer, is this a reference to? Is this a literary reference?
Yes, it is.
What is
And
it?
I know that you know the character because
You kind of cut out. What's that? Oh. My stream is lagging. Unlucky.
No, I can
Sounds
hear
fine
you
for
100%.
We're
Yeah.
back.
Oh.
No. I just get every once an hour my internet decides to lag spike. It just makes it.
Oh
great
yeah, I see
experience
the
for me.
F's in chat right
Yeah.
now.
It's amazing. Okay, sorry. You were saying.
okay, I was saying I know that you know who my my name is because I know you've read my book. Oh, the book that references me.
I was about to be like, Pat Rothfuss?
It's like it's like a
It
riddle.
is Pat
My
Rothfuss.
book.
Yes,
Have you
that's
guessed
the one.
Yeah, Mark. Were you saying you didn't know?
No, I was saying, when he said my book, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the caller's
yes,
Pat
yeah.
Rothfuss. He wrote the book.
I mean,
I'm here to announce book 3.
Yeah,
Just
so I
saying.
was gonna say if you're calling in, it's very clear that I'm now realizing what it is that's stopping you from. I don't think book 3 is ever gonna come out.
No, I will never finish that book, unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel like he. Yes, good one. I feel like he's just too busy being a celebrity in the nerd space to want to finish the third book. I think he's not even
So
writing
what's
it.
the solution? That like he he dies and Brandon Sanderson picks it up or
Probably.
something, or
Yeah,
like
that's. I mean, I'm in no way wishing death upon this person. I would like him to just finish the book, but yes, like I don't understand how book 3 is ever going to get finished. It's so frustrating.
It's like a Game of Thrones situation, I reckon, where a movie adaptation needs to be made where he just tells the people who produce it, just like, yeah, this is the ending, just do it. The book's not coming out, so finish it for me.
It's like, in my mind, it's just kind of pathetic because it's like you did 2 books, dude. Like, just do a 3rd book.
Yeah.
It's not.
He streams playing games
No,
very
I know.
often.
He just wants to be a celebrity. He's just embraced it, and now he's not going to ever finish the book. It's just so frustrating.
Such a good.
Where are you calling from?
Adelaide, Australia.
Australia.
down under.
Adelaide, Australia. What time is it there?
It is 3:44 p.m. So middle of the day.
Okay. One of the things I love about the show is we'll get a caller from the UK, we'll get a caller from Australia. Literally all over the world, we've got people calling in. It's so cool. What do you want to talk about on the show?
Okay, so just a couple of questions for Zeyzal. You mentioned earlier when talking with Travis and Mark that you thought TSM were a bit better than Team Liquid, and I was just wondering why you thought that. Is it like the way they play? Like, are they more early game centric focus, which is harder to play into, or is it like they mesh better, or just better individually?
Are you a TL fan or a TSM fan, Master Namer?
TSM fan. Oh, I'm a Bjergsen. It's like a player. I follow more the player than the
Okay.
org because, yeah.
Okay, so you're calling in just to be like, oh, tell me how good TSM is and how they're the best.
Yeah, I need some validation because we lost in the weekend. So I need Zeyzal to tell me that was the hardest game they've played all year, and that we can still make finals because we're missing out a lot.
Well, I guess it's mostly that I do think TSM are a bit more oppressive when they play. Like, that's how I feel watching, that's how I feel playing, that they generally will be a lot more oppressive, and it feels pretty hard to play against them. I haven't gotten the opportunity to play against this TL roster a lot, though, and they could have grown a lot since I last played them, but from what I recall, like, when I last played them, I did feel TSM was harder to beat, and both of our games versus TSM were very hard to win. And I think a lot of it, I think all their players are good. Broken Blades looked really good a lot of his games. Some games not so much, but that's the nature of like your first split always. Like, I just fed last split sometimes. You gotta do it. And then I think Sven, Smoothie, Bjergsen, and Acadian have all looked really good and have done well filling their role within the team.
Do you feel like the TL players don't look good in certain areas?
I mean, I think they got exploited. Top lane versus Broken Blade, like Impact got exploited there. I think they've been exploited in jungle a lot, and I guess that would be the main points. Like top and jungle, they can be exploited.
Yeah, and you think TSM is less exploitable?
I'm not even sure if that's true. It's hard to tell.
So is
It's
it more
also-
of a
it's
gut
really
feeling
not-
for you, or? Oh my god. You're listening to the VOD right now. We lost
Me?
it.
Are
Hello,
you-
we're back. Hi, sorry.
I heard him the whole time. It's just Travis's fault.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it's
okay.
fine. Can
Where
you
did I-
repeat
Travis,
yourself?
Zeyzal is doing his
Where did I
best
cut
bringing viewers, and you just keep tanking it.
I don't. If anybody
Okay,
knows,
I'll restart. Does anyone recall where I cut out? Let's see.
I think you probably cut out when Travis asked, like, is it
Is it
more of a
gut feeling?
gut check feeling, and you
Yeah.
were like, yeah, kind of.
So yeah, it's mostly like gut feeling. I don't have any statistics to back it up. I don't have any like anything other than gut feeling that it feels like when I play against them, it feels harder
Gotcha.
to play against TSM than TL historically. Like not historically rather, but the split.
Well,
Yep.
Mark,
That's
what do you think?
pretty good to hear.
What do I think?
Yeah.
I think y'all fucking crazy. TL's better than TSM right now.
Do you want to elaborate? Also, can you
No, it's
get
just a-
anywhere near your camera?
No, it's just a gut feeling,
Okay.
and
Fair.
my gut is telling me also to lay down like this.
Zeyzal, Where would you rank? How would you rank the top 3 teams?
I mean, so I guess I think versus us TL is, I think TL is probably a pretty similar level team to TSM, but versus us it does feel like TSM has a pretty good matchup into us. I don't know why, but I don't know if TL will either, but I think I'd feel more confident playing TL in a best of 3 than TSM. So I would probably put C9, TSM, TL, but that's only versus us. I mean, TL might just be like a more well-rounded team than TSM too. So maybe like an objective standing could have like TL will beat most teams more often than us at number 1, and then C9 and then TSM.
Okay.
I think that makes some sense because if you think about kind of how the team's play styles are, TL feels kind of like a stat check in a lot of ways. Where like if you're not good, if you're not this tall to ride the ride, you'll just never fucking beat TL. And a lot of teams are not able to ride that ride. Whereas TSM and C9 can, and TSM is maybe a little bit more aggressive and can actually get leads and beat people up. So I don't know. I can see that line of logic.
Yeah, I mean, it's just how I would feel matching up to them right now, but like I haven't even played them since week 1, so it's hard
Find
to
out
tell.
next weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I could be completely wrong, and they could be so much better than the last time we played them, but it's can't know till I play them.
Master Namer, any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
Nah, that answered pretty much my entire question.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on.
Have you read the Lightbringer series?
Dude, I've read, Lightbringer. I've read everything on that list that you put up, and then
Okay.
some as well.
Yeah, I just started Lightbringer because that was something a lot of people replied, and I'm enjoying it. I'm in the first book.
Nah, it's really good. It's really hard to find books you actually enjoy that are actually interesting. So like a lot of times I'll pick up books that people recommend, and then I'll get about halfway through book 1, I'll be like, man, this sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, this is so disappointing. I don't want to read 3 more books of this, dude. Like, no offense to the dude, but it's, you start from the top and it's just down from there.
Yeah. I've wanted to create a book club podcast in the past, a fantasy book club.
Nah, if you do, I might follow that.
Yeah.
All good.
Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Mark, can you focus your camera?
I'm trying. It's just being a fucking thing.
I feel like you do as much as you can to undermine the production of this show.
Maybe I'm turning it the wrong way. I don't know what's going on.
It's
Weird
like you
that
can't.
It actually looks fine for me, by the way. Your camera.
Oh, I got it right, and then I think I went too far. I gotta go back a
it's
little bit.
Just go.
You want another caller? Or you want me
Yeah,
to fix
just
my webcam? I can only do one.
No, bring me another caller.
Zeyzal, which one would you prefer?
I like the close-up, but there was a cat in the background. I think the cat's relocated, so I think just leave the cam as it is.
All right.
All right. While Mark is doing that, I want to give a shout out to Doc Smart for the Prime, General Maliri. I believe I might already said that. That Weird Dude 25 gives us a sub to Sneaky, Tyler 1, and Alienware, Blood Vault, Costa Rican. I'm Elvis. That Weird Dude gives us a sub to Optic Gaming, Clutch Gaming, LCS, Riot Games, Oceania, Ninja, and Team Liquid. So thank you, That Weird Dude, for gifting so many subs to so many people who will not be visiting this channel. I'm Elvis 4, thank you. Gold Shifter 1, Real Foxy 1 gifted a sub, or resubbed and said I want Mark Kelby, maybe someday. And Real Foxy gifted a sub to the Mark Z. We've got Slyant here on the show. Slyant, have you been on the show before?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know the answer to that, right?
Yeah, I do, but every time I think I know, because I know that he subs and gifts a lot of subs, I feel like. And so anytime I sometimes get those people mixed up because I say their names so often. And then people are like, I've never been on the show before, Travis. You know why you said that. And then you laugh at me, and then the chat laughs at me. Slyant, where are you calling from?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. And what do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
I kind of want to talk about Cloud. I know a lot of people bring up that like Team Liquid plays a little slow, and that like Cloud9 could have ended that game faster and all that kind of stuff. And so I want to ask Zeyzal, you are on Cloud9. Do you guys, or maybe you can't say like the whole answer, but do you guys, or do you think that your fast, like more aggressive play style is the best in the whole meta, or just what's best for you guys, like your team with your 5 players on the Rift at that time?
I think every team will have a different style that suits them for closing out games. some teams are like really, like the best teams are going to be like the most disciplined, and they're capable of playing like 1-3-1 super well, which allows you to close out games fastest, assuming you're stronger than them in every lane. But like there's certain teams that don't like playing that style, so they like to play through a different method. So I would say that the way we play is best for our strengths, and I wouldn't say that it's automatically the best way to play the game, because we do take a lot of gambles, and I mean, obviously it's hard to be the best ever. Like it's hard to play the game 100% the best way, and most teams don't do that. So I would say it just suits us.
Well, then, like, what do you think about, like, I know a lot of people point to G2 as having, like, a really aggressive, really good, you know, like, they're obviously, like, that they were smashing EU without a single loss. I think, I don't remember how many, like 9 or something like that. And then, like, they played against SK, who almost lost to the last place team, if I recall. I don't really watch LET too much, but I know that they lost to a pretty low-ranked team because they were playing aggressive, is what I read online. So, I mean, like, do you think that, like, there's, like, you know, too many, like, if you're not good enough, then is it too big of a risk, or is it just like, you know, I don't know. It's kind of hard to, you know, there's not too many ways to quantify how good you are or how good a team that plays really aggressive is.
Yeah, so I guess with any playstyle, like there's going to be associated risks if you play aggressive. Like SK beat G2 will down 9k gold, which is super weird, and like we criticize Clutch for losing to 100 with a 7k gold lead, but it's just like every team plays with some risk involved, and G2 are very aggressive, so I guess there's some risk associated, but I wouldn't say it's a bad play style. It's just they play aggressive because they're really good players, and they might make individual mistakes because they play loose and aggressive, but that's a risk you take with the play style, which that play style does feel like it's the best right now, and last Worlds it also felt the best.
Yeah, I think that's where I land. Is like last year, the teams that were aggressive and really proactive and picking a little bit more lane centric stuff were the best teams, and I don't feel like the meta has shifted that much at all. There's still like a high importance on how powerful dragons are. Turret plating is now important. Baron still feels like super good for ending the game. So I still think I favor teams that have more proactivity and a little bit better early game. But
It feels really hard to play versus good teams that are aggressive. That's like how I feel about the game. Like when I play versus a team that plays super slow, it doesn't feel that bad. But when I play versus a team that's like super aggressive, always contesting you at the right time, knowing how to beat you, and like lane phase, and then using that to snowball to like dragons, turrets, stuff like that, they feel like the hardest teams to play against. But
I mean, maybe that's why
I don't
people
know if
think Clutch is
G2
going to be
plays like
good.
that. Yeah, like being willing to make the first play and the aggressive plays will usually yield a good result if you, as long as you understand the game at like the fundamental level, and you're better, like you play super well or better than the enemy team.
Yeah, I would actually just love to see one of the bottom teams, maybe Clutch or somebody, just embrace that and push and be as aggressive as possible in the LCS and just
I mean,
force change.
I mean, Clutch has embraced that. Like they're fucking hamburgers all the time.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see just a kind of wave of that. I mean, it's kind of what we saw at Worlds last year. Whenever there was just such a huge shift to this aggressive playstyle, I'd love to see that happen again at LCS.
I think the thing is about it is like Zeyzal was kind of saying, maybe not as flamey as I'm about to say it, but like you have to be able to play the game at a fundamental level. And I think a lot of teams in North America just kind of, especially on the lower end, suck at that. Like Golden Guardians tried to play a super lane dominant aggressive draft, and they got their small lead, and then they didn't grow it correctly or anything, and so it looks bad. But I wouldn't say what they tried to do that game was fundamentally any different than other aggressive teams around the world. They just weren't as good at it.
Yeah, you have to have the fundamentals down very well to be put in a position where you can play aggressive, which is basically what a lot of teams in NA miss, I think. Not just NA, like a lot of the lower tier teams in every region just miss that. So they could have like good players that miss, but as a team they don't do like fundamentally basic stuff that gets you in a position to take over a game, or get you in a position to make an aggressive play. Reaper actually was really strict about that when I first joined the main team. Like, he made sure that every player on the main roster understood the fundamentals and was like reteaching it to even Sneaky, just because he felt like we weren't playing the fundamentals very well and we were losing games because of it.
I think it's one of those things that should get beaten over people's head yearly. Like, it happens in other sports too. Like, you know, a lot of veteran players and pros are like, oh god, I don't need to learn how to like proper form in blocking. I've been like a tackle for years in football or something like that. But like, they still every training camp fucking make them do the fundamentals and make them condition and make them do all that stuff because you just need to keep doing it. Otherwise, you start slacking.
Yeah, fundamentals is a bit broad, but it's like you can lose games to such basic stuff like not pushing a side lane or not escorting your wave or like bad team fight formation, basic stuff like that. That's like every pro player should know, but you can just drop it for a split second and get punished for it.
Yeah.
So it's so important to have them down.
Slant,
I
do you
think
have
like
any other questions?
well, just like not really another question, just kind of like the like three of the top teams in each region, or the top teams in each of the 3 major regions that are considered like the best, like G2, C9, you could call them the best, and then like Griffin are all like teams that have like the real like fundamentals down, and like they play fast and aggressive, but that's because like they're just beating their opponents like that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it better than that.
What makes a game look so easy to win is when you just are doing all the fundamental stuff and you're just a better team. So like you not only have the basics down perfectly, but then you know the more advanced stuff like how to snowball your lead. And I think like 2 teams that know the basics, like push outside waves and then match like mid lane. That's how games stall out really long because they're just pushing side lanes and then moving mid, stuff like that.
I think that's also when teams often look like the most lost, is like when someone doesn't have that stuff down, the other team does, and it's just like they keep falling behind in CS. They can't get any of their timings right. They're like someone's always back in base when the rest of the team's pushing somewhere, or they keep losing their vision control, so they have to keep spending their time when they have an advantage, like getting vision control back. Like, I think when you don't have that stuff down, like that's when games really look slow and like no one's doing anything.
Yeah. Definitely.
Pretty much.
All right. Slant, any final thoughts?
No. Good luck to Zeyzal, and shout out to the C9 Academy support. Second best support on C9.
Thank you.
Thanks,
No
dude.
problem.
Have a good one.
night.
All right. Moving on to the next caller. Let's see. Zeyzal Shan, is that how you say it? Zeyzal Shan, thank you for the prime. Habs 2099, Mr. Fanatic 7, Tron Mac, and then Ribs of Fly, Stoner Grill. That sounds like a restaurant. And that weird dude gifted 10 subs all at once to the channel. Thank you, that weird dude 25. That weird dude 25 has probably gifted like 25, 30 subs today. That's insanity. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Very generous of you. We got Mikey, or is it Mickey? Is it Mikey? I think it's Mikey.
Yeah, it's Mikey.
Mikey. Wait, do you also have an accent?
I guess
I
I,
don't
do.
think
I don't
you-
know.
I
You
don't
don't
think
have
you
an
do.
accent?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
But
Maybe it was
He's
just
so
the
short
microphone.
to hear it the first time.
Where are you calling from?
Chicago, Illinois.
All right. He's got a Chicago accent. Let's go with that.
He's not like Da Bears.
Yeah, I'm not like
Yeah.
Go Bears, none of that stuff.
Mikey, did you grow up in Chicago?
Yes.
All right,
I
there
did.
you go. I feel pretty confident in that.
All
I
right.
grew up in Massachusetts near Boston, but I'm not like park the car.
Yeah, that's how I am, I guess.
Mikey, I would have guessed immediately you're from Chicago by that accent. What do you want to talk about?
It's mostly towards Zeyzal, but you guys can obviously comment on it since Zeyzal, you played against you played against all the teams. What would you rank all the current supports right now? Or if you want to include the entire bot lane, like where would you rank them and why?
Is this
Does
the
that
new... Like, Mark, we had this exact same thing last week with Demonte and mid laners, right? Are we just doing
I had
this
fun
now?
with it.
So we're pulling this now?
I don't know.
Zeyzal, how do you feel about doing a tier list of supports in LCS? Because we did this last week with DeMonte.
In LCS.
Yeah.
All right, I suppose.
Okay, we'll
Normally
have
I'd
Mark do it
avoid
with
this,
you
but
too.
I'll do it for the content.
We'll have Mark do it with you too, because he did it last week. So let me go ahead and throw that up on screen for everybody. Okay, so I think last week we had A, B, C, D.
Let me get a list of the teams.
Yeah, we did ABCD.
Okay.
Oh, you guys get to save me from putting a player 10th. That is good.
Yeah, that way you can be like, oh, these are all close, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to put somebody 10th, or you have to put somebody D. I guess you could have multiple people D. Last week on the mid laners, only he made it to the D category, so we'll see how these work. But Mark and Zeyzal, are you guys ready?
I need a second to look over these.
Okay.
All right, we're not doing Gate. I know he played, but we're
Yeah.
gonna skip him.
That's fine. Just whenever you can, give me your A.
All right, I got a list of all the players here, and I'll
Okay.
just reorganize them.
Yeah. Do you want to give me your A people?
No. I want him to go first. I'm ready for A. I'm working my way down.
Okay. Zeyzal, are you ready for A?
Yes.
Okay. Who are your A tier supports?
All right, Core JJ, Smoothie, Zeyzal.
I only have Core JJ and Zeyzal.
Okay. And the rules are you can only have 3 in a tier.
What? That's
That.
What if I think everyone sucks and I put them all D? Isn't that spicy?
No, because it prevents people from being like 6 of the supports are B and there's nobody in C or D.
But then we can flame Zeyzal for being fine.
I would never flame Zeyzal. He's an A tier support. All right.
Oh yeah.
B tier. B.
I haven't actually got that one down
Mark?
yet.
Yeah,
looking
I'm
at this
I'm
list.
finishing.
All right. I'll fill time. Mikey, tell me about growing up in Chicago. What was that experience like for you?
I mean, it's a suburb in Chicago, and don't want to get too into it, but I go to school in Chicago, so
Okay.
you know. That's
Ninja
the fun
lives
stuff.
in Chicago or in the suburbs around Chicago. Do you know if he
Yeah.
lives near you?
No, I do not believe he lives near me.
All right. Well, did you go to Worlds when it was in Chicago?
No, and I'm mad about it because I asked a group of friends, and they were like, oh, I don't really think I want to go. And then it happened, and then we're like, man, I wish I went.
Yeah.
I put
So I
4 in a
flamed them.
tier, Travis.
Don't put 4 in a
I'm
tier.
having a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
past
that's not
the-
allowed. He
past,
just
like,
said it's not
5,
allowed.
Honestly.
It's not allowed.
I put 4 in a tier.
Pick one to move to either the tier above or the tier below.
I put 4 in a tier, Travis.
Stop.
What?
If
This is how I feel.
if
What are
you
you gonna
give
tell me? My
if you
emotions
give
don't
me
matter.
4,
This is my truth. I'm speaking my truth.
if you give me 4, right? What's this new age gaming stuff? Now I understand what you were talking about when you said new age gaming. My truth. Okay, Mark. If you give me 4, the last name you give me goes to the tier below automatically.
How about this? Out of my 4, you pick where you would put one.
What?
You decide for me.
I don't think you can actually have a D tier for support specifically. It feels too hard to differentiate between like C tier and D tier.
I disagree.
All right. Well, let's go with.
You can name like. Oh, you actually. That means you have 4 players in D.
Yeah, I have 4 in C, but it's like 4 in C, or like if I'm gonna put 1 in D, I want to put more than 1
Mark,
in
give
D.
me
Yeah,
your
yeah,
B tier.
that's what I'm saying.
We're
I
talking
can't-
two meta conversation right now. Give me your B
All right,
tier, Mark.
so my B tier is Smoothie and Hakuho,
Okay.
and then
Wait, hang on. No, give Zeyzal. Give me your B tier.
All right, we're going real different here. All right, Biofrost, Vulcan, JJ.
All right. I don't know if people can hear Kobe cracking up in the other room right now. Okay, yeah, this is wildly different. This is fun because last week it was a little closer. Mark, C tier.
all right. So for C tier, I have Vulcan, Big, Biofrost, and JJ.
Okay, JJ automatically gets moved to D tier because you couldn't.
What? JJ's one of the last I would put. What the fuck?
Who would you put at D tier first then, or bump up to B tier?
Why are you making this arbitrarily not fun rule?
Where's Ole in your list?
I put him in the D. Why are you laughing?
Nothing. I'm just. I put him in the D. Sounded aggressive. So it like reversed it mentally.
Dude, get your mind out of the gutter. It was innocent.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, so then who's your... Wait, who am I forgetting for your... Oh, Afro.
Also in the D.
Afro is also your D tier. Okay. Yikes. All right. Zeyzal, your C tier?
This is so hard because I got to put one of them D tier
Yeah.
according to these rules. But I don't think any of them deserve to be differentiated from each other.
Okay, who are... It's Ole and Afro.
So in this list, if I had to list them, it would go Hakuho, Big, and then I'm pretty much in the same place. It's like hard to differentiate between Afro and Ole lately.
Do you think Afro and Ole are both as good as Hakuho and Big?
I think Hakuho is the best out of those, so I would put Hakuho at C still, but I would put them all roughly around the same.
What if
So
you
it's hard to
put Big, Afro, and Ole and D tier? Then you don't have to feel that bad about it because
Yeah,
look,
but-
like...
But you're just doing this so that when it gets up on Reddit, it's like, yeah, Zeyzal just shit on these guys. You know?
It's not why I'm doing it. I just think it's lame whenever we have 4 tiers and nobody's in the
all
bottom.
right, we'll do it.
No. I don't want to pressure you. If you think they're all
How about
C tier,
this?
we'll do that.
You must put one in D tier. So minimum one. So if you're gonna put someone in D tier, you can put some extras, but you gotta put one in every tier.
All right.
It was
all right.
arbitrary rule. That's
I'm
so
thinking.
unfun, Mark. Why are you coming up with an arbitrary rule?
Yeah,
You were
Mark.
telling me to put JJ somewhere random, like it's suddenly gonna make my list better.
All right.
At least I used all the tiers.
All right. I'm going to the stats for this one. I can't make a personal decision.
You're doing it by KDA or what?
Yep, I'm doing it by KDA.
Oh god.
All right. I'm finding it. Don't worry. I'm
Yeah,
almost
no,
there.
I know. I just have to fill time because otherwise people. think
The
that
bottom
they're-
3
Yeah,
are
yeah, you
Big.
keep-
In order, it would be Big at 1.6, Afro at 1.7, and Ole at 2.1. Ole's at 2.1. He's kind of a step up between Afro and Big. By KDA only.
I mean, if you
All
were
right,
building a
well-
team, would you rather have Ole or Afro in the support position?
My list has been decided. Big
Okay.
is going to 4th, D
Okay.
tier.
Mark, question though to you: if you were building a team, would you rather right now have Afro or Ole in the bot lane
Gun.
position? What?
You never.
Gun to your head?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would probably take Ole right now.
Okay.
But I think some of what it depend like it would be very situational depending on who else is on my team and stuff. Like if I have more Koreans, I'd probably want Ole, and if I don't, I'd probably want Afro.
Okay. Understood.
I mean,
Alright, here's
it's
your
just
tier list. So,
valuing by players too,
Tier
not
list.
what they offer in a team.
Mark and Zeyzal both agree on Core JJ and Zeyzal going in the A tier. Don't know if that's at least biased by Zeyzal being here.
No,
And
definitely
then
not.
You guys don't have anyone the same in your B tier, which is interesting.
Oh, because I don't have Smoothie,
Yeah.
and Zeyzal says Hakuho's trash.
Yeah, your lists are pretty different. I think that's kind of interesting. All right.
I think it's not super like mine aren't in order. Like I'd say of the C tiers, I'd put JJ as the best, which is probably pretty close
Mhm.
to.
Yeah, that's similar.
This
I
would be a
could've-
good cooldown challenge, by the way.
Cooldown challenge?
Well,
That's too
for-
much analysis for the cooldown.
Oh, okay. This was supposed to be meme central.
I think it's supposed to be like fun.
Okay.
It
I
is-
think this is
I don't know.
fun.
Zeyzal, are you having fun?
I'm having pretty fun. Pretty decent amounts of fun.
You
I'm having
can,
a
the
pretty fun
enthusiasm
time.
is just dripping off of them. All right. What? Where are we? Sorry. Let's see. We got Mikey is still here. Mikey, what do you think of the rankings?
I agree. I mean,
Wait, they were both
like,
they were different rankings.
I'll say I like more of Mark's, if
Okay.
that's okay to say.
That's
No,
not a
it's
good thing.
Okay, you're off the show.
Why wouldn't it be okay to say that?
You
I
want to
mean-
you want to agree with the
I mean-
actual pro support player
Yeah,
who plays against him.
I would, but I just feel like performance-wise, certain players. I mean, I don't know how they look in scrims or anything, because I don't get that info, as a spectator.
Yeah.
But
I think everyone makes their list differently too. Like it's not just like it's one of those things where sometimes if people talk about it, their lists actually end up much closer together because you realize you're using different metrics. So like mine is always some combination of like how good I think they are versus like their actual performance. So like I think Biofrost is not a C tier support, but like him and Stixay have inted lane a couple times in the last 2 weeks. So I'm like, oof, I don't know how good they are right now. So like I weight performance relatively heavily, like Afro and D and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's how I would do
You
it
definitely
too.
have a lot of like you're talking just the split with your rankings, I'd imagine for sure.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whereas maybe mine have a bit of like Bifrost actually had moments where he looked really good last split, so I think of him pretty highly as a player because of that as well.
hmm
All right.
then-
Thank you, Mikey. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, I think that's it. Thanks, guys. Zeyzal, do me a favor, clap Team Liquid, and yeah, thanks, man.
Have a good one.
Thank
See
you.
ya.
I'll do my best.
All right. Moving on to the next caller. Couple of shout outs here. That weird dude 25 sent 500 bits. Keto Devil sent 200 bits. It says, I watched ads for you. Oh, thank you. Red Belzy resub for 10 months. That weird dude 25 came in with another 25 or another 1,000 bits. So I've gifted a lot tonight in hopes of sponsoring a live recording of Hotline League for spring finals. Well, we'll try. We will try. If Riot can't do something for the fans on Friday, we will do everything we can. Just unfortunately, don't have as much time to. And that. Anyway, let's move on to the next caller, which is Mr. Fernman, a Twitch sub who has a Cloud9 Discord icon.
Oh, that's what I like
Yes,
to
sir.
see.
This is exciting. Where are you calling from, Mr. Fernman?
Chicago, Illinois.
Well, welcome back to the show from another Chicago person. Is this coincidental, or are you doing this to troll?
Changed name.
No, I am from Chicago. I'm from the Northern Rogers Park
I
neighborhood.
thought you could tell through his thick accent. His thick
No, that's what I'm saying.
Travis.
Like, this guy doesn't have the same accent, and so
I think they sound exactly the same.
really.
I grew up bilingual, so I
See,
speak
and that's what
Spanish.
I'm identifying, Mark. I'm basically a linguist, actually.
How do you say "da bears" with in Spanish with a Chicagoan accent? Can you combine all that?
Los Sauces.
That was so funny sounding to me. I don't know why.
Mr. Fernman, what do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
So I wanted to hear Zeyzal's opinions on player burnout, specifically on Cloud9. Now, Zeyzal, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Cloud9 hasn't really taken a break, going from summer split to finals to then another to a Korean boot camp, and then back to the spring split.
We haven't
and that
taken a break
sounds
since
pretty rough.
MSI 2018.
Essentially, man, how are y'all doing it?
Yeah, it's hard. Like playing on Cloud9, there's definitely less breaks than other teams. Like personally for me, so what actually happened was I went from Academy, I made playoffs in Academy, so I get less of a break already. And then we had to keep scrimming because our main team made playoffs that split. They lost in quarters, so then I had a bit of a break, and then I went straight to Korea. So I actually went on the Korea trip that people mentioned, like Smoothie went on. It was Smoothie, me, Keith, definitely. So then I got less of a break then. Then I went straight into scrimming early again because we scrim earlier than every other team. So I'd say, yeah, you get much less of a break on Cloud9, but it's good because you get to like retain a lot of what you learned through the last split, and all your teammates also start earlier with you, because if you're just playing a lot by yourself, you don't learn as much. So starting early as a team gives you a bit of an advantage moving forward to the next split, the beginning of the split, and even later on you also have the fundamentals down, so it's easier to like move on to more advanced growth, I guess, as a team.
So-
The burnout topic.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you can.
I was
make
just going to
yours.
ask you, so when was the actual last time you had a break?
I mean, I've had a month off, roughly. Not quite a month. I had 22 days off,
Okay.
I think, in November. That was my last break, and I streamed 13 of those days in a row.
Jeez. You really like League of Legends.
We could say that. It just, you have to work hard to not get replaced, obviously.
Well,
You
that's
could
probably why
thank
you're
the-
8th here.
The 10-man roster for that one. It pressures you a lot as a player to keep form, which is the intention of it. So
Do you ever
can't
wish that
complain.
Reaper had a coach that was sitting beneath him that, he
Oh,
would
Rapid
he
listen
actually
Star.
to?
planned this out. He got Rapid Star, his good friend. So now Rapid Star's just chilling there.
Yeah.
You ask him a question. What did Reaper say about this first, and then he'll
Okay.
comment.
So he
No,
knows
no,
his place. Reaper brought him in and is just like, listen, you're gonna be here. This is where you're at.
Is there ever a time where like in pick ban, Reaper like says something and Rapid Star says something else, and it's just like this awkward like, who am I listening to?
Definitely not. Reaper has a lot of authority in general, and you can't really players often will like say something, but Reaper always has the last say.
Hmm.
Except a lot of the time he actually leaves it up to the players. So then like there's this awkward thing during scrims and on stage where he'll ask one of our solos like, "What do you want to pick out of these two champs?" So they'll give him a list of the champs they can pick there. Then he'll respond with the two that you can pick from. And then neither of them gives a definitive answer, so then the choice is up to me basically, and I just lock whatever I want in, which is actually how we got Oriana on Saturday. I don't want to say what our other option was, but that was a Zeyzal lock-in.
Okay.
Zeyzal locking in his mid laner's champ does not
Oh
sound
yeah.
like
No,
a good idea.
It happens a
When
lot.
it
in
started off, I
scrims.
was like, you're like, Reaper has the final say. And I was like, wow, this is like a well-oiled machine. It's just Reaper like really pitting his decision making in, and then you go like, but then like. There's a phone a friend option where if a player doesn't like it, and then sometimes
so
Reaper will just
how
shout
Reaper
out two
does it
names to the
is-
audience, and whoever like
Yeah,
reacts
yeah.
first.
The actual reality of it is Reaper will tell you what champs he wants you to play, and I don't think I've seen a scenario. He has told me like he wants me to play a specific champ, like one champ, but generally he'll leave the player like two options because then I think mentally it helps you. Like you pick the champion you want to play, so you list him your options. He refines it to two, and then generally you'll pick the one out of it.
Gotcha.
But Niski doesn't like to pick all the time, so some Zeyzal decisions get made. Executive choices must get made, and then you end up with what I pick.
You're like whenever there's a tie in the Senate and the vice president gets to come in and break the tie. That's you. You're Vice President Zeyzal, breaking the
Yep.
ties. Okay, so wait, what were we even talking about? Oh, the burnout thing.
So
yeah,
yeah,
Go for
burnout definitely is a threat for players, but it's like I think it's easier to burn out when you're the only player within your like group doing it, because then you kind of look weird. Like it almost feels like the norm within Cloud9 to like play as much as you can and like take smaller breaks, which I think prevents players from burning out because like everyone around them is doing it and you're more comfortable in the mindset because everyone around you is doing it with you. And I think that helps a lot that all the players on Cloud9 actually try a lot and they play some of the most and take some of the least breaks, which with the Cloud9 atmosphere being like a bit memey, it's kind of like it's probably unexpected, but we definitely start scrims the earliest and take the shortest breaks
Hmm.
out of all teams in LCS.
Who are you
I did
scrimming
have
when
a
no
bit
one
of
else is scrimming? Academy.
We went to Korea to scrim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's when like there was the All-Star event, and they just fucking dipped out immediately after to go
Licorice
to Korea.
left like straight from there. I think.
Yeah,
Vegas,
yeah.
Birdman, any other thoughts?
Oh yeah, I just had like just kind of like the same follow-up question. Like, does Cloud9 do a good job balancing your life as a player? I mean, I know you guys sometimes do triple block scrims, or I also know you guys, or at least some of your teammates, just like went to SpaceX today or something like that.
So yeah, today is you get one off day a week generally for all LCS players. Some teams sacrifice that off day, but Reaper feels that the off day is really important for players, and I doubt that he would sacrifice it even if we were doing poorly. So today they went to SpaceX because like it's your off day, and that's an opportunity that not many people will get. We get it from Cloud9 to go with them. So I went as well. It was actually fun, but yeah, I would say that stuff like that helps, and Cloud9 helps deal with it by giving you opportunities to do stuff like that. SpaceX, there's been other ones I don't really recall, but basically we're almost always guaranteed an off day, which helps a lot too.
Did you
That's cool.
hang out with Elon Musk?
Cool. I signed an NDA. You guys will never find out.
Oh. Are you gonna get the $35,000 Tesla?
You getting a flamethrower?
Tesla Model 3. What is it?
Model 3, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Nice.
You know, if I got Elon Musk in my contacts, I might as well just get any of them. Why,
You have
why
Elon
go
Musk
for the
in your contacts?
$35,000 model? Who knows? I can't
you
reveal that
text him to-
information.
Can you get him to tweet out next time Hotline League is live with you on it?
Yeah, that would be great. I would appreciate that. It would mean a lot to me. Okay, you're not responding. Anyway, thank you so much, Fern Man. Sorry, I was trying to remember if you were... It's Fern Man. Anyway, Fern Man, thank you so much. Any final thoughts here?
Zeyzal, please do me a favor and clap Team Liquid. Thank you.
I'll be doing my best.
It's like a mesquite flavor, I think, is what. Thanks, Fern Man. Great. We got one last caller to close out the show. Let's see. Grillick, thank you for the Twitch Prime. Winding things down here. By the way, Zeyzal, is Niski just super toxic? Because it seems like he's picking fights with a lot of people. We were doing a show last week with Demonte. He was in the chat picking a fight with Demonte. And then you say he picks fights with Licorice. Like, he seems like he's just out there trying to be aggro, fighting everybody.
He's like a bull. He has to charge anyone that looks at him. Like he's like the little runt of the pack. He always gets beat up and pushed to the side.
Gotcha. So he has to act up. Do you guys all try to like avoid eye contact with him because?
No, we encourage it. We stare him in the eyes till he charges, and then he hits his head on the door, falls over.
Yeah, he's in Twitch chat right now. He says everyone hates me. LOL.
We all love Niski.
Okay, good. All right, whatever. Reaper and Niski are popping off in chat. We got Okun here. Okun, is that how you say your name?
Yeah, exactly. It's the Economist name, Okun.
I'm not familiar with his work. Can you?
It didn't help us at all.
What is he known
for? He was known for putting a theory that said that I believe a country's président de la République, which is in French. The English is escaping me. What the hell's the word? Anyways, when unemployment decreases by 1%. Your gross domestic product should increase by 3%. Anyways, it's something that stuck with me, and I thought it was an interesting theory.
Nice. Where do you think that could be applied to League of Legends at all?
I don't know. Possibly if we take Zeyzal's example of off days, if off days decreases, then ranking in LCS increases. I don't know.
Nice. I'm into it.
Zeyzal, hey, you guys should take no days off for a year, and we'll see if you can get from number 2 to number 1.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about, Okun?
I want to talk about how
I believe. Where are you? Hang on, I fucked up. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Montreal, Quebec.
Okay, nice. Okay, that's why you were able to say the French thing. How cold is it there?
It's actually warming up. It's still in the negatives. Of course, it's Celsius here, so I don't know how that applies in Fahrenheit. But
it's below freezing.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's not great. Mark, can you?
What does it matter?
Okay. What do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
I want to talk about how teams should be able to loan players to other organizations in order to develop talent and allow them to have starting positions if they have the required skill level. Something like this has been proven to work in European football, and I can see it paying great dividends if the loan were to occur like across regions, such as an NA player going to EU or a Korean second string player going to NA. And I think that like for the example for Cloud9, maybe since the 7-man roster and everything. I know this isn't what the organization would do, but hypothetically, if they'd want to send Golden Glue off to another organization because maybe he's good enough to be a starter, maybe he learns something while playing for another team and comes back if ever something goes awry with Niski or something. So like a way to develop talent as well as build relationships with other organizations.
So can you give an example? So you're saying an example that would be Golden Glue could go to Europe to play as a mid laner there.
Yeah, something like
So
that.
we,
Or
as North America, would export a North American mid laner to Europe because they need NA talent in the mid lane in this scenario.
well, that's highly unlikely with the kind of black hole of NA talent for mid lane, but something
I like
that.
where
Yeah.
you're going. I like where your head's at. No. All right, so would you be able to do this within the LCS or only between leagues?
If we go with the same example of European football, you would be able to do it within your own league, but that same player wouldn't be able to play against the team that actually owns them.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
So it's rent a pro, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically the double lift thing, but more legal.
Yeah, they more legal. I mean, it should hopefully be legal because it happened. Are you implying it wasn't legal, Mark?
I mean, it was
because the double lift actually put me down. So if it wasn't legal, I'm calling a review of that series right now.
I mean,
Let's
it
go
was
back.
Maybe I should have been in LCS a year earlier, and you've been withholding this whole time, Mark.
Mark,
I'm saying it was legal, but it was definitely a little loopholey, backroomy feeling where suddenly double lift is released and then Steve gets to sign him, and like, I don't know. It would be nicer if there was a framework around which those moves could happen.
I hear you. Zeyzal, what do you think about this? Would you want to be rented out to other teams?
It's weird. So the problem with that is you
100
then have to
might be
consider,
looking for
like,
support.
let's say we went out Golden Glue to 100 Thieves, right? And then they practice with Golden Glue all that time, and then part of the rule is he can't be played against us. So then are we basically match fixing? Because now they have to use a subpar mid laner who they haven't been scrimming with against Cloud9, essentially giving us free win, right?
Oh yeah, you're like, it's almost like a bonus because C9
But-
not only do they get to rent their player
But
out,
for the
but they also
integrity
get.
of the series, that wouldn't be.
I think it's the kind of thing where the team who is accepting the loan is aware of these
Parameters.
restrictions, and they're like, we're willing to take that risk for the other 5 games left in the season that we want to try Golden Glue out for. So like, if you were a team like, let's say another example, Echo Fox with subbing out Rush and putting Panda in, like if they could loan Meteos or Dardoch from Optic, then they get to try that out. They can potentially still develop Panda. It just gives teams more options, which I don't hate the idea of. You know, I'm trying to think of where the big problems come from other than that one that we just talked about.
I'd like to add, I saw it in Twitch chat, AF892 is saying that the clause where they can play against their home team is optional, and I mean, that is true. I think it's only in certain cases where you can play against your parent organization, so.
So I guess to me it seems hard to see how this would be more competitive in any way, and more it just creates like an opportunity for players, I guess, to show off how good they are, but really they should get opportunities within their organization if they're good. Like Blobber got his opportunity. It's like I can't see an opportunity personally where we would be better off loaning Golden Glue or Blobber or any of our academy players as opposed to just keeping them on our academy roster because of the academy system.
What
Okay.
if the money opportunity is money?
Yeah, I guess Jack would make money off of it, but then
I mean, this seems like a perfect Jack move. I feel like this is such a thing that Jack would do.
Jack is only not typing in chat right now because he's busy writing an email.
he's thinking about
Dear
the logistics
Chris
behind it.
Greeley.
100, he heard 100 Thieves get
I was
Golden
listening
Glue and
to
they
my-
can't be played against me?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was listening to my favorite show on Twitch, The Dive. And then
Just to clarify, because Steve's in chat right now, like the thing with double lift was legal. I guarantee it. I know it was legal. I know it was legal. I'm just saying that like, if it was like one of those things, I think I heard a couple of teams were like, man, if I remember correctly, some teams were just like, there's no way I could have got that because they don't have that relationship with Reggie or something. I don't know.
I mean, there was no way we could have done that. As the challenger team, United, at week 7, right before week 7, I think we found out that TL bought out double lift. That's 3 weeks before relegations. So like, there's not much you can do, but it kind of felt shitty in that position because we're not even really against the team that was a bottom team anymore. But it was only specifically because it was relegation. So I guess in a franchise system, it's not actually the worst plan to be able to loan out players.
Yeah, I think it could work. I would
Steve.
definitely.
Mark,
I
was
think
gonna
it could
say,
only work within a controlled environment like a franchise system, though.
Mark,
What
you-
about cross-region stuff? As in, like a Korean player being loaned to a North American team, and then after a year's elapsed, where the Korean player, I don't know, gains experience and is kind of maybe the star of the North American team, goes back to Korea and then plays there.
Isn't it really bad though if the North American team has invested all this time into this
I feel like there would
player?
have to be a clause that guarantees the North American team at the end of the term could buy the player out straight up, and that the Korean team couldn't deny it. Because
Okay.
like the Korean team just picks up, then that incentivizes. This actually happens in Korea, if I'm not mistaken, but they sign a bunch of random players that have the potential to be good, and then now imagine they start like constantly loaning them to NA, and then the players that are bad just get kept on like contract prison, I guess, and the others would be like just brought back, and then they're like, yeah, this is my player now. I know you guys trained him up, used him for a year, but I'm not giving you the opportunity to buy him. Something like that.
I think it's
Okay.
also weird cross-region when you're talking about players not just as commodities but lives. Like if
Yeah,
an
you
org
just
has
kind
the
of
ability,
throw them around.
right? Like if an org has the ability and the player can't veto this, like in North America, if orgs have the power to do this, it's not like it's still not great if the players don't have any control over it. But like if Golden Glue suddenly has to leave the clutch or the CLG house or the goddamn it the C9 house to go to 100 Thieves or something, like it's like he has to move across LA worst case scenario. But like if you're talking about taking someone and shipping them across the world because the other like some Korean team wanted to make a quick buck, I think that sounds and feels pretty bad.
I think that's a common clause in most contracts too, player contracts. Something about whether or not you can be traded with or without permission is first, like the player input, and then another is, can you be traded within our outside of your region with or without input from the player.
Yeah, and
So I
then
think
loans
that
would need
is
to.
brought up a bit.
Yeah, it's how loans work within that.
Mark, really quickly on the Steve thing, you really are missing an opportunity here. He's literally offering to show you bank statements. Think about what you could learn from the bank statements. Like I feel like
Well,
this
I could learn how much more fucking money he has than me.
well, or how much he's paying a certain like. There's a lot of. Can you get the bank statements and bring them to Hotline League, and then we'll just go over them on the show and.
Oh, for views. Now that's an idea. I was thinking just you see you're smarter than me. I was just thinking personally. I'm like I don't want to see how much money Impact and Jensen, all these guys are fucking making. It make me feel bad. But if it's for content, then absolutely.
Yeah, if we could get that going, that would be great. So just keep pushing on the. It's illegal. Mark needs to see the bank statements, and until he sees the bank statements, well, it's illegal.
I'm starting up a task force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make me feel better about Double Lift smashing me in my Challenger days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would make you feel better, but I.
Oh, it might. Like, oh, at least Steve had to pay for this one. He can't just beat me up.
All right. Anyway, any other thoughts, Okan?
No, that's it. Just wanted to say that Zeyzal, you were looking mighty fresh with that fresh cut this weekend, and I hope C9 just absolutely claps TL. I'm a big C9 fan.
Thank you.
All the calls
I'll
this
do my
week
best.
are.
Yeah, I can't. It's just cause I'm here.
Yeah.
Except the guy that had a C is the one with the C9 icon. I can believe that he didn't change it for this.
Thanks, Okan, for the call. Have a good one.
All right, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right, so that winds up the show. Hey, this was a great. I really enjoyed the show. I think it was one of our better ones of the year so far. I'm sure because Zeyzal is here and is so informative and thoughtful.
Of course.
Mark, do you want to shout out, plug anything, talk about anything?
If the world doesn't fuck me again, D&D should come out tomorrow for offline TV, and it should be sick. We have, without spoiling too much how it's going to be, we created RPG assets from like old Final Fantasy type looking games for all the characters, and we're like animating the story and combat and things like that, so it's not just us sitting there and playing D&D. So it should be pretty dope.
Speaking of dope, Steve is buying our silence right now by gifting 100 subs. And all I can say is, I think it's completely legal what happened. Zeyzal, you should be ashamed of yourself for being disappointed. And
What a sore loser, huh?
yeah. Oh, boo-hoo. They didn't make it in because Peter showed up. What an issue, Zeyzal. All right?
Whoops. I see my wrongs now. Oh,
Yes.
let me. Oh, is that a notification on my phone there?
yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I see my wrongs now.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
The only thing is, I had a really fun time with Zeyzal. I feel bad. I felt like we took turns talking over Zeyzal at multiple points. I don't know why, but it just felt like that happened more this episode than normal.
I can't pay attention to anything right now. I'm just looking at all these subs coming in. This is incredible. Wait, really quickly, I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody who gifted sub or who sent subs beforehand. Grulik, AstroDude177, Smoke Dog, Voyu1, thank you everyone, and then on the back end, Toxfire and Bezerb. Thank you for the subs. And thank you so much to Steve. That's very generous. I want everyone to know that I don't ask him to do this, and I don't ever do anything. There's no clapback. I don't bury stories or anything like that. I know that it's not like I'm soliciting money or there's any agreement for me to get paid by team owners, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Anything else, Mark, before we move on to Zeyzal shoutouts?
Nope. That was it.
All right. Zeyzal, what do you want to promote and shout out there?
I guess thanks for everyone that watched. Hopefully, Travis didn't trick me into saying anything too much of a disaster.
You
but
say most of the things on your. You're a very candid person. I don't have to trick you into doing.
You
that.
made him put someone in D tier.
He forced me into the. I'm sorry, Big. You would be a C tier player at minimum for me, but not Travis.
Whatever. Well, either way, thank you. Where can people? You stream though, right?
Not often these days. I have a hard time streaming during the season.
Well, where can people follow you so that when you do stream, they have it?
So all my socials are just /Zeyzal, so twitter.com. Actually, it might be C9Zeyzal. No, it's Zeyzal. And then twitch.tv/Zeyzal. That's pretty much all I use, Twitter and Twitch.
If you don't follow Zeyzal on Twitter and Twitch, please go do it because obviously he's a really well-spoken individual. He's an A-tier support, and that's not my opinion. That's his opinion. So
that's Mark's opinion as well.
Yeah,
you know it's valid. You've got one of the best supports in the LCS, claiming he's the best support in the LCS alongside Core JJ. So there you go.
With
I
Licorice
could have
too.
abused the system to get Big out of Travis prison. I could have put myself in D tier.
Yes, you could have done that.
Could have taken one for the team, been the real support.
But your ego would just not let you do that, Zeyzal.
And it was too big.
You know, a little humility would serve you sometimes, dude. You just walk around the LCS like you're top shit, all right? And just calm down, all right? Zeyzal, just calm down.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone, for doing this. Oh, here, I'll clap back for Steve on this one. By the way, did you know that when TL goes 2-0, he sent 100 subs to me? You're wondering how you get a sub? Well, I'll tell you. You could get 2 subs for the price of 1 at Jersey Mike's. I think they tweet out a code. Is that how that works? That might be how it works. But anyway, you can go get a free sub when you buy a sub at Jersey Mike's. What a deal. All right. For me, that's it on the show. I am filming and wrapping up Playmaker Season 2, so people who enjoyed Playmaker Season 1, that'll be coming out soon. And I'll be at South by Southwest next week. LCS interviews are coming out. I'm going to stick around on stream to hang out and do some more of that. Thanks everyone for watching Hotline League episode 66, and thanks so much to Zeyzal for being on.